Alright, we're doing Thursday Night Live, trying to get some people in. I don't know, might take a few minutes for some people to filter in here. Lots happened since last week's live. Wait for a couple people to get in. There's nobody in right now. We will wait for a few people. Let's see. Oh, looks like one person coming in. Hello, welcome. Waiting for a couple people to get in so we can get started on talking about some stuff. So, there's a link to join in the comments for anybody that wants to jump up here and join. Please do so. Talk about car stuff or whatever. And it's as the title says, countdown to dyno day. Going to be doing a dyno tomorrow, so looking for that. Will definitely be quite interesting. And once we get a few more people, we'll start talking about some of that stuff. I think everybody's over at Two Hacks Garage is live, but he should be done soon, so we should get more people to filter in. Looks like there's one person in here. Probably my dad. Taking a little longer to get people in than normal. Hey, Bigfoot, how's it going? You can feel free to jump on up here. I know if you want to come to the dyno tomorrow, I can send you the address, or otherwise you can just look it up. I'll send you information on that tonight. We'll be there at 9 setting up. Probably won't make any polls or get everything running until probably close to 9:30, 9:45-ish a.m. So if you want to come, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. Definitely would be cool if you wanted to come. I know you kind of wanted to see this. So yeah, you can if you want to. And you can jump up on screen too if you want to do that. Hold up one of those Hemi keychains. They're outside. They're not Hemi. Well, basically Hemi. They're big block. Raji, did you say dyno tomorrow? Yes. So now we're getting a few people in. As per the title of the stream too. Doing a dyno on a pretty well built 440 tomorrow morning. And trying to think, I'll be doing video on that as well as sharing kind of updates as we go. It'd be kind of fun to do a live, but it'd just be too much to keep track of and it would get hectic. So probably won't do that, but we might do that another time. But it'll be on a 440 that was built previous to me ever getting it, but I just tore it down, inspected it, replaced gaskets, and put it back together. So I'm not gonna claim that I built it because I didn't, but I reassembled it. That's basically the only claim I have to it. Um, I'm hoping, really hoping for 525 horsepower. I don't know if it will. It could be a lot more, or it could be 500, or who knows. Um, it's a 1970 block. It's bored 40 over, has 6-pack style pistons with the 4 valve reliefs. It's pretty much zero decked. I think they're probably about 10 thousandths in the hole, or maybe even less. And trying to think, the heads have been cut 20 or between 20 and 30 thousandths. So that'll up the compression ratio as well as kind of bring the head closer, which will increase compression. But that'll be good to see what those do, and they're very, very heavily ported. Moparnut is asking what time is the video going to post tomorrow. I don't know. Probably tomorrow later in the afternoon, evening. It might not be up till Saturday morning. But I'll be in contact with you. I'll tell you how things are going. But we will see how that goes. Moparnut, you can jump up here. I'll throw a link in the thing again. Anybody that wants to come up here is always welcome to do so. If I can get my computer to work, having a little bit of computer problems. If anybody wants to jump up here, talk about the dyno, talk about cars, talk about anything, you're welcome to do so. So definitely jump on up here if you want to. But anyways, back to the 440, back to the dyno. More specs on it. It's, like I said, it's 40 over, and I did kind of a rough compression calculation. It should be about 10.2, 10.3 to 1. Depends on how much the heads are cut. If they're cut on the bigger side, maybe 30, 35 thousandths cut off, it should be, trying to think, it should be, probably, it could be at the most 10 and a half. It's got 6-pack rods in it that have a lot of weight ground off of them and a lot of lightning done to them. It has a forged steel crank that has a lot of work done to it. I can't even believe the amount of work that's done to that. I think there's been a lot of weight taken out of it, and the reason I say that is because there's a lot of drilling on the weights of the crank. And there's far more drilling than there is any putting of like Maori or whatever back into the weights. There are many of the weights on the crank that have nothing but drilling that they don't have any weight put back in. So that's pretty interesting. We'll see if the crank is lightened, we'll see how that affects it, if it does affect it. But yeah, that would be pretty interesting to see. But back to the heads are ported a lot. A lot of bowl work, as well as the intake port is a little bit wider, not very much wider, because you can't get too thin in between the ports. And then they made a lot more height. They put a lot more height into the intake port, and the overall size is a lot bigger. They flow a lot more, I would imagine. That's what my engine builder and dyno guy said, which is a good friend. So he's looking forward to seeing what it'll do. He looked at those heads, pulled a couple valves out, checked the springs and everything, and they're all good. And he said, build engines and stuff all the time. You couldn't pay me to do this work. There's no way that he would be able to put that amount of time and effort, and nobody could pay him to do that much stuff to the heads. He said they'll outdo a lot of aluminum heads. These particular ones should outdo an Edelbrock Performer. Yeah, excuse me, Edelbrock RPM aluminum head. Excuse me. For sure will outdo the 440 source heads, which are basically an aluminum 906 with slightly a bit smaller chamber and bigger valves. And these do have the bigger valves. These are the 1.81 exhaust and the 214 intake. So, but that's pretty much it for that. And it's got a 7-quart Mylodon pan. It's got trying to think what else it's got. Really, really nice windage tray. The cam we don't know duration specs on because there's no numbers on it that identify the cam, but I measured it and it's about 540 lift, so that's pretty cool. That'll definitely be good. And then the springs are to match and everything, and the lifters are all good. It is a hydraulic flat tappet with ISKI adjustable rockers and 3/8 push rods, so that'll be pretty cool. And then it's Hemi orange. It looks okay, and then it's got a chrome direct connection timing cover. It's got Mopar Performance polished aluminum valve covers. They aren't really polished looking. They're a little bit dingy, but might clean them up after the fact. And it has a Y-end single plane part number 7512 accelerator intake. And that's a really, really, really good intake. And I've done a lot of research on it. It's a very not well-known intake at all, but it's really good as far as performance. But I'll kind of wrap it up on the 440 stuff. I'll maybe talk about it later with other people coming in here, but looks like we're at only a few people right now, but that's fine. Once again, in the comments, there's a link if you want to join. You can jump up on screen. You don't even have to be on screen. You can have yourself off screen and just talk to. So if you want to do that, that's great too. Mopar Nut, how's the eBay parts stuff going? Pretty good. We've had the last 10 days or so have been really good. The last 2 days or so are a little bit less, but really good overall. Haven't been doing as much parts, but definitely still going at it pretty good as far as everything goes. Not buying as much, but we're waiting to go back to South Carolina for another load. Hey, Jed's in here. Man, if I wasn't as tired as I am, I would hang out with you. Hey, if you want to jump on, that would be really cool. But if you're too tired, completely get it. I get how it is. I'll be on here for let's see, it's 9:30 right now. I'm cutting it short at 11 o'clock. Go take a 30-minute nap and come back.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, how's it going?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Does it help if I turn it? No.
No, it doesn't do that.
All right.
I don't think so.
So, yeah, man, I'm hoping I make it. I've been sleeping weird this last week
yeah?
or so. Yeah. But definitely want to try
You're
to.
not. Yeah,
I start
you're
my
not.
long day at work, so I'll be better off if I try to do it, right before I start.
You don't have to work tomorrow or anything, do you?
Yeah, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. But if I enjoy doing stuff, it's easier to do without sleep.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to come out and you can make it, that'd be great. But yeah, definitely let me know. We will keep an eye out for you.
Yeah, I love dynos, man. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've only ever done one, and that was on that 340, and that was a lot of fun. This one's going to take a little bit more setup, though. Still have to. The only thing left to do is I just gotta put the. I gotta route the plug wires.
Okay.
And get the get a couple little details done. It's mostly there. It's just a couple
Yeah.
little small things.
Boy, that's weird light. Makes me look blue.
Turning
Yeah,
into the
no,
Jack
dynos are
Pine.
a lot of fun. And then the main thing too is, you know, you'll have everything all set up so you know that your carb will be ready to
Right.
roll everything. So
Right.
when you go through all your
I got that 850 I got off Facebook Marketplace. It looks good. I took the bowls off. It's really nice and clean. Um, sprayed cleaner and everything through all the passageways and stuff. So hopefully everything is good to go. I'm not 100% banking on it being good. If not, I do have a backup, but it is a 750, so it's, it's not going to give me optimal performance.
Jed would probably be able to explain it better, but I know like with my Quick Fuel 850, there's something about 850s, the actual like the body of it where it actually outflows like a 950. So I think the
Oh,
850
really?
is a good carb. So yeah, as long as that one works pretty good.
Yeah, it's I'm forgetting the number now.
Because
4781. It's an
everyone's
older
like,
one.
when we did that 512 dyno video, everyone's like, oh, just think if you put like a Dominator on there, because when it was
Right.
showing its horsepower, it was still climbing. But that 850 gave it everything that it needed, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, like Jed was saying, you don't want too big of a carb. You want, you know, one that's going to work the most efficiently. So I think 850 is right in the ballpark if that's making, you know, like 525 horse or so.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that. I mean, everything went back together on the engine really, really nice. The only thing I struggled with, and I've struggled with it all day today, and it has been a complete pain, is getting that intake on.
Yeah. Because of the heads and everything, or the being milled and everything? Is that why that
No,
you had a hard time?
fit fine. It fit fine, but the trying to get the inner bolts to go in, they didn't want to go in at all.
Is that Mopar nut?
Uh-huh.
Yep, that's what it is.
All right. Gang's all
Tired
here.
Mopar nut.
So yeah,
Yeah, we gotta get Joe and Adam on here.
yeah.
Hey,
Get the whole
Joe and
crew.
Adam, that's right. And
I was,
maybe Marcus or Vic.
yeah. Yeah, Vic's got to chime in on these sometime, you know. It'd be cool to get him in here.
Yeah, Vic kind of keeps to himself.
Yeah.
From my experience with him, and that's fine. But I don't know, he seems to keep to himself a little bit more.
He's Canadian.
Yeah.
He came and picked up the parts that I had.
With the border restrictions is the only reason he's not in here now.
I don't think are they still have them or what?
I think they opened them, but I don't know.
I don't think they're as strict as they was.
But yeah, I was really bummed when hey Raker, when I drained that transmission fluid out of the Jack Pines transmission that's in there.
Yeah.
I saw metal in there. I'm like, yeah, man.
But it wasn't.
It was working fine, and like Joe said, you know, it's probably got a few more passes in it, but just doesn't give me much like hope.
How big were the pieces in the bottom of the pan? How big were they?
There were a couple of chunks I saw in there, I thought.
Some pretty good flake.
Yeah,
there was a lot of the silver.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
The silver,
I've seen that on regular transmissions, everyday transmissions that have way worse than that.
Oh yeah, but did you see the big flakes that were in there, Mopar nut?
Yeah, but they were flakes. They weren't chunks, right?
Yeah. Well, some of them look kind of chunky. I don't know.
Like little grains of sand.
Yeah.
If I do use that other transmission, I want to put that metal pan on there because that one has a drain plug, and then I was going to put a magnet in there too. But
yeah, magnet's a good idea. A magnet is a really good idea.
Yeah, I'm so close. If I just bolted the engine and my converter in there now, and I can actually get it up and running within probably a week or two. But if I do the trans swap, that's just going to be
But
probably
the
just a
fluid
few
looked
more
pretty
hours.
red to me. The fluid looked like cherry
Yeah,
red.
when I first took the plug out and it was draining, I'm like, oh, sweet, that looks perfect. But I don't know if he just changed the fluids too, you know.
Right.
So, but anyway, we'll see. I got time to think yet. I got to get together with Andy when we're going to pop it in there. Gary gave me a Moroso solid motor mount for the driver's side, and then it had a torque strap that Andy had custom built anyway. So, and we're just going to use the regular mount on the other side.
Yeah, I guess I never
But-
even thought about having a solid on one side and a regular on the other, because I've got a lot of motor mounts. I just got to figure out what
Yeah, well-
configuration to do on the Belvedere.
With a biscuit style mount, it's a good idea.
What Judd say there?
'Cause
I don't have my
they
meters
can
on.
separate. Those mounts can separate.
Jed said it's always better to have a smaller carb than a bigger carb. That potential 10 horsepower lost is gained with 60 foot times and better drivability.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to
Jed,
see.
you know way more than me.
He's right. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you could put a 750 that just use more gas on my truck right now. The 650 is perfect. I get 15 miles to the gallon.
The only reason I'm running that 950 on my engine is because it was free.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna say no,
if I had
right?
the extra money, I would have sprung for like another 850 quick fuel. I like those. Those are really good carbs.
Yeah, I got that 850 that should run. Hopefully, probably gonna have to mess with the jet size and look at the power valve in it, but I don't know that much about that stuff. My dyno guy knows more about that, and he's gonna have like a box full of jets and be able to tune it in if it's functioning properly. But if it's not, you know, I've got a 750 quick fuel that I'm gonna bring in case.
I bet that would be a damn good carb. You know.
Yeah, and he also has a carb that he uses for dynos that is
Most guys
like
do. And then
a super
sure
swap
he's got
it
all
on,
sorts
right?
of different. He's probably got a whole assortment of different spacers too.
Oh, I got a whole box full of inch and a half, 2-inch spacers and stuff, and I'd like to do that. Even Joe was telling me, he's like, do a video on that. You'll get a lot of attention on that. Do a video of a pull of a 1-inch, a pull of a 1.5, and a pull of a 2-inch, and compare.
I just mocked up my engine with that 2-inch Wilson 4-hole spacer. It looks good. I just, hood clearance because I've only got the 2-inch scoop on the jack pine. But I'm hoping I can fit that spacer on there. What's that? The Wilson one? I don't know.
Yeah, what's it made out of? Aluminum, plastic?
I don't know.
How can you not know? You got eyes.
It was worth 15 horsepower on my last engine. On the jack pine or on the 512, it added.
It's
15
pretty cool
horsepower.
because it gives you more space there and it gives you more plenum space.
And this one had the 4 holes and it had like the reverse kind of pyramid, and it was like
4 holes give you a better signal.
Yeah, but it also had like kind of like this thing coming down from the 4 holes, like a little pyramid thing to help with the swirl. Yeah.
Does it have a spiral in it? Is that what you're saying? Like a channel? It helps. Yeah. What it does is it spins the charge, the fuel charge going in, and it spins it.
And I think
I got a Transap that's like that.
Yeah, the M1 goes down to like a really flat spot, so I think it would really help out the M1 intake.
Yeah, one like that style, that M1 style on my 383 with an 800 Edelbrock that I have to rebuild.
Yeah, I can't believe what I found out about the intake that I'm running. And I'm not going to make super big claims because I haven't tested it for a fact, but I've looked at a couple other people that have tested it. It's better than an M1. It's, I guess it's actually a pretty rare intake, and they didn't sell a lot of them.
That was the Team G?
No, it's different than the Team G.
It's the accelerator.
Yeah. The Y-end accelerator part
Yeah.
number 7512.
I have a magazine with a whole bunch of tests, and I think that accelerator is in there. I gotta look it up.
Yeah, I've never seen a test. Jed, it's the Y-end accelerator big block. It's 7512 is the part number.
But that's a single plane
7512.
too.
Yep, single plane high rise
And who makes it?
Y-end.
Lion.
Okay.
I just apparently they're really hard to come by, and we just found it at a swap meet probably 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been sitting on the shelf because that was the intake that my dad ran on his first car.
Yeah.
It's gone to the days of the old TM7.
I had one of those. I sold it.
I got 2 of them.
They got a weird, and tell me if I'm wrong, but they got a weird operating range. Their operating range is like from 3,000 and up.
Right.
Seems like they're more of a horsepower, less of a torque.
I got them out of the junk pile. That's how I got them. People were scrapping them, and I said, "Hey, you want? I'll give you $5 for that." And the guy goes, "Good, I'll take it."
Yeah. Yeah, Jed, I don't know. I haven't seen a side-by-side comparison. I just know one guy told me that he's a bracket racer with a 440 and that he's tried the Street Dominator and he's tried the Mopar M1, and then he put the accelerator on and it took a 10th off his time. And I was like, there's no way it actually took a 10th off his time. And he's like, I'll show you the slips. He's like, I've tried and I'm just going off what I'm told. I'm not going to claim anything.
What carb was he running?
He was in a CUDA, I think.
No, the carburetor.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know his exact combo.
What carburetor would be?
But he was same kind of place I am, right near 500, between 500 and 550 horse. Absolutely, just because it works for me doesn't mean just because it works for him doesn't mean it'll 100% work for me. I don't dispute that at all. You know, there's a lot of factors: the carb, the cam, the heads, the compression ratio, everything. Yeah. Your rod to stroke, your bore to stroke ratio, everything has to work happily together. So, but I've got a torquer and a torquer 2, and
yeah, I got a couple of those too.
I think those were the most
you got a couple of everything.
People throw stuff away and they don't know what it is, and I just go, "Hey, you want to sell that?"
So many of the Mopars run like the Torquer 2, and I think the main reason is because they fit under the hood pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing about this this intake we're gonna run is it's a high rise. I mean, it's if it's probably if you were in a Duster or something like that and you're gonna put a 440 in it and put that intake on with a Holly on it or something and a decent size air cleaner, probably wouldn't fit with the hood closed.
Yeah, the Edelbrock RPM Performer RPM that they had on the Jack Pine, he had an air box on there that sealed up to the scoop, and he also had like a I don't know if it was a 1/2 inch or 1 inch spacer too. So the M1's taller than the Edelbrock. So right there, I'd probably have trouble running his air box that he had on there originally. And then, if I put that spacer on there, I don't think I'm going to be able to. I don't think my Wilson spacer will fit on the Jack Pine with its hood scoop. But we'll see. Gary doesn't want me to run the airbox either because he said that that could have been part of the problem that the car was having because it was forcing so much air down the carburetor because it sealed up against the scoop. He recommends not running the airbox unless you tune your engine for it.
I was about to say you probably need to jet the carb different if you're going to do that.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. So
more air, you're going to need more fuel.
Uh-oh, here comes Jed.
All right.
I told you they would come, didn't I?
Everybody start talking about B5 Blue.
No. Let's stop that.
B7 blue. It's much better.
No, vitamin C orange.
Yeah,
That's what
B7
I'm
Blue
calling
is
it.
even better than
He
B5.
hates orange. You know that he hates orange, right? So let's talk about vitamin C orange.
Yeah. And we'll get Dust Devil Garage in here too if we start talking about red cars.
Oh no, that's Rust-Oleum. His thing is Rust-Oleum.
Oh, he hates Rust-Oleum.
No, he loves Rust-Oleum. He painted the car, the one side of the Duster with Rust-Oleum.
Oh, primer wise or what?
It's gonna be the finish. He's going the
He
cheapest way
He just wants
possible.
a flat black car.
Okay.
That looks pretty decent.
Yeah, I haven't kept up. I didn't know what his
If I'm going flat black, which that's what I want to do to the Cordova, I want to go completely everything black, right? And flat. And I'm gonna go satin. I'm gonna use a 2-stage, and it's gonna be a urethane, so I know it's gonna last.
Yeah, I'll be doing base clear on the Belvedere. That'll be something new. I've never done base clear before.
Oh, base clear is great. You'll like base clear.
You'll be able to fix little things in between too.
Now, are you going with a metallic on the bottom, or
no?
You're going with a solid color, right?
Yep, it'll be white.
Oh, it'll be. Yeah, you'll like it. You'll love it.
And white hides a lot of bodywork flaws.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to hide anything, but
I know, but it helps.
Right. The car will look great standing 10, 15 feet away from it.
I shot a silver, a pickup with base clear. Silver's a bitch, though, man. You can get a lot of modeling, a lot of tiger stripes. But a solid color, easy.
Right.
Like a solid blue, solid red, solid yellow with no metallic.
Mm-hmm.
Those colors are easy to shoot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of colors of cars that we
single stage. You got both the gloss and the color in the same paint at the same time. So you got one shot to get it right.
Jed comes in and Bigfoot leaves.
No, Bigfoot's there. It's just not in the picture.
He don't like me anymore.
I think he's intimidated by Jezebel.
I was scared.
He don't like me no more.
You ought to be scared of the other guys, all right? The guys that cut your head off.
He's nervous about the other 600 plus horsepower blue B body.
Well, I was go ahead and say this. Jezebel may not be the car I bring.
Jezebel what?
May not be the car I bring. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh
yeah.
Maybe the A body
drama that Wilburn started with Joe, and I know he really wants Jezebel there. I've decided that I'm not going to let anybody know what car I'm bringing.
Oh.
And we may not even bring a car. We might just show up just to hang out with everybody.
For my part,
that's
you wouldn't
even
have to. I mean, for my part, Jezebel just being there is like a plus, because it's such an iconic YouTube car,
Well, I'm not going to allow my car to be a ticket sales point for him if he's going to try and start drama between me and people I used to like and have respect for.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. Was he used Jezebel as basically a way to sell tickets because he wanted me to race Joe and talk Joe into calling me out.
Yeah.
Knowing exactly what my specifications were if my friends wanted to call me out. No Joe. I know Joe knew those.
So you're talking Wilburn did this?
Yeah, I got fucking proof. One of his last lives he did. He said he willingly goaded. I don't know. He didn't really say he goaded Joe into doing it, but he knew he was going to push my buttons, and I've got kind of a thing. You don't fucking push a man's buttons and do shit like that. So we're not saying what car we're bringing. We might show up with the Dart. We might show up with the van. We might show up with a fucking bicycle.
How about, don't you have like a Ram Charger? Or your brother has that?
My brother's got a truck, but he can't go. and his truck hookers and blowers got a lot of issues.
Mhm.
And it's not mine. I'm not messing with it.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't mean to
You don't
get
want to see
into it,
yourself.
but yeah. So I wouldn't plan on seeing Jezebel there.
Well, there's a possibility to see the Dart, though.
There's a possibility to see any of my cars that are mine.
Satellite.
Yeah.
I'm talking
no
about
shit.
the car still sitting in the back.
Everybody's got their favorite. You see this?
I've always loved the satellite. That thing's badass.
What do you guys
Well,
thinking?
is
That my
that the
car's
satellite that's
451
doing the burnout at the graveyard?
Yeah.
I love it because it's like identical to a car I have
Well,
in
then
the yard.
I'll vote for satellite if it's that satellite.
Yeah, but
Yes,
the
it's that
451
satellite.
back.
That burnout is just beautiful, man. Every time.
I mean, I have a Autumn Bronze 73 satellite Sebring Plus. So it was a factory 400 car sitting in the yard.
Wow.
I want to get. I wish I could fix that one, but it's rusty, really rusty.
You can fix it, but it just takes a lot of time. That's
Hey,
the
I'll
problem.
take a rusty car over a car that's covered in fucking Bondo. Because at least then you don't have to like the car that's already been like Bondo bucketed. You got to remove all the Bondo just to remove the rust. Because you
got to fix other people's crap then.
Dude, my Dart, I got it for free, the 72 Dart, and the lower quarters were full of building foam. Okay? So I know how that feels to take all that crap out.
Yeah.
Ricker, the problem with putting a straight axle into the yard Dart is it's the wrong car. So here's the problem with making a gasser out of a car like the yard Dart is that's actually a GT car. And that's got basically Formula S suspension. It's got the big sway bar. It's got all the handling stuff. And actually the 66 Dart GTs were the first car to win like Trans Am racing. And they're really good handling cars. They got like that perfect wheelbase and suspension
What's the
setup.
wheelbase, 111?
I don't know what it is exactly. I just know that actually a pretty good car to make a little road racy car out of it.
I think the B bodies are 117 or
No,
115.
B bodies are 115. They're
115, yeah.
115.
God,
the Darts are
Dan's
111.
107.
I think they changed. I think they changed the wheelbase in 71.
And a Mustang is smaller than a Dart, and a Cougar is smaller than a Dart.
The Mustang, in my opinion, is barely a car.
Oh,
Well, especially after one that's been sitting for so long, it's definitely isn't a car with how they rust.
I just personally, but that's just because I'm a little bit of a Mopar purist. But personally, I never understood the appeal of a Mustang. Nothing about the body lines or the styling of a Mustang appeals to me, and it's like, hey, that's cool. I don't see it.
Like the Shelby
768 fastback.
JMR says 108. I just looked up and said 111, but it's hard to say. I don't have like.
I'd take a 71.
I could look it up. It was
I'd take like a
66,
71
right?
Reno.
Yeah, it's 66. It'd be the same
Probably-
as a 65 or 64, 63.
Right, probably 111 as a Dart.
So is that considered a first generation A body?
Well, what's the first
66,
generation?
Yeah, that would be like the first series of A
64, right?
bodies.
62?
Right.
What was 62?
When they start dividing
The
them up.
62 was technically the first B body platform.
B
a Dart.
body, right?
Right.
Yeah,
When they-
62 Dart was
when
technically
they-
a B body.
When they took the Valiant body and split it, really.
I'm not a big fan of them Valiants. Never have been.
Yeah, the only
108, you say, JMR?
JMR says 108.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't matter to me, really.
Depends what rear end you put in.
It just matters when you're trying to make it into a G machine.
Oh, JMR says 111. My bad.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said. 111.
Oh, don't get cocky.
No, it ain't that I'm cocky. It's just I love my dart, and I want to turn it into that type of a G machine. So at least 1.2 G's on a skid pad would be fine. It ain't gonna be a Corvette. It ain't gonna be a Corvette, but it's gonna be it'll handle.
I might. Well, I'm not saying I'm working on my satellite, okay? That's only if you're on my Instagram you get to know that kind of stuff.
What year is the satellite?
It's 73.
73.
73. Okay, cool.
JMR, there's nothing to be sorry about, man. We all make mistakes. I might work on the dart. I don't know. I'm kind of happy letting it sit. That 273's done nothing but piss me off with carburetor after carburetor after cam after cam. It's never wiped the cam, but the cams suck that are in it. That Isky cam was pathetic, and this Circle Trek cam was completely the wrong option, but it was better than the Isky cam.
What's the next step on the Duster? Obviously, I know you want to do the 340 in it, but
it's the engine. Ditch the 360, put the W2 340 in there, talk to John Cope, and finally order some parts for him to beef up that 727 to make it a manual valve body and make it live.
You gonna leave it
money into that 727?
You gonna leave it a column shift or?
Oh yeah, I hate four shifters. There's only one Mopar 4-shift automatic shifter that I like, and that's the 71 4B body shifter, the gated slapstick. To me, all the other 4 shifters are junk. I'll throw them all away. In fact, I have. That's actually one of the reasons why I converted Jezebel to a 4-speed. I hated the console shifter. I absolutely despised it. It was awful. And the I hate the Dart shifter. It's got that B&M Star shifter. I think it's garbage. We put a Mega shifter in my brother's truck. I absolutely hate it too. And Dad's Charger, it's got that same factory 6870 B body shifter. I think it's junk. There's no gates to it. And
apparently Brian thinks you're talking crap, Jed. I don't know what's
Am I talking crap?
I don't know.
You know I love you.
No. What? We just do you love Rust-Oleum? That's all we're saying.
I wanted to talk.
One of the things I want to change.
I think his tank turned out pretty killer.
One of the things I definitely want to change about my car. It's like when I'm in the Jack Pine, the little shifter that's in there. It's an older. I think it's a ratchet of some kind. I don't even know what kind it is because Andy has a picture of his daughter on the handle, but it's short and it's low to the ground, and I kind of have to reach for it. So if I'm racing the Jack Pine, I'm not comfortable with the feel of the shifter in there. And then I've got a Mega shifter that came with a transmission that I bought. And like you said, I don't know if I like that either. It's a ratchet shifter, but it's got the button. If I did a line lock, it's got a button on the T handle for the line lock. But I don't know if I'll get another quarter stick or something for the Jack Pine. I'd like to get one of those, what do they call them? It's the Cheetah.
One of those. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, but they're like $535.
My buddy Roseman in St. Louis, that's literally the only shifter he'll run. And we got him on the waiting list. It took him about a year to get one.
Yeah.
They're so back ordered, but I don't like the way they look, but they're a killer looking shifter.
Yeah.
I mean, not killer looking, but killer operating.
Yeah.
JMR is wondering if I ever found the full cam specs on my Crowler cam in the 440. No, I did not. I just put it back in.
You didn't.
Hopefully it's good. No, I would have, but I talked to my engine builder and he said he looked up like the number on it. He's like, that's just the core number. That wasn't even the Actual
What, the
number?
right number?
No.
Oh shit. Oh yeah. Sorry, Brian.
It,
I was asleep about 30 minutes ago. I passed out. So I'm gonna be horrible, but we're reviving the Wide Guys Card Talk this Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
That looks pretty cool.
yeah, I saw that on the thing.
We
Of
got
course,
a
I'm
really
working.
cool special guest.
It's amazing.
yeah,
I only work one weekend
that
a
cam's
month,
like 540 lift.
but it seems like everything happens on that weekend.
Yeah. I gotta make
Yeah, I'm
sure
looking forward to the
around.
White Guys coming back.
I think it's gonna be fun with our special guest, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say or not, so I'm not gonna say, but he's a big deal on Facebook.
Brett?
No. Oh God, no.
Oh,
Oh God.
I thought you were talking about him. I was like, oh, really?
Well, he'd fit
Oh.
in, that's for sure.
Peacock.
No,
No?
he's also on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't know he's on YouTube.
Yeah, he has a podcast.
Is he a troll on YouTube also?
I don't think he's a troll. Yeah, okay. Brian said it's Chris Albrecht from Talking Mopars.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's gonna do an episode with us. I don't know if we're gonna make
Maybe
it.
you can drag in Johnny.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be nice to have some people from around the country, because that's kind of the one part that kind of sucks, that Brian, William, and I are all kind of in the Midwest. It's nice that William's kind of in Mississippi, so it gets a little further out. But if we had like a guy out in California and then like on the East Coast, it'd be nice.
I would say add me, but I'm also in the Midwest. And I don't have anything
You're
interesting
a different
to add.
part of the Midwest.
Upper Midwest.
Yeah. This should be fun.
You could have I'm trying to remember their names. I don't know why I'm blanking out on their names.
I don't think I watch anybody that's on the East Coast.
I'm trying to think if I watch Jonathan W., but he's not really a Mopar guy. He's just a car guy.
I don't know if they're on the East Coast, but like
only Lunar is the only one I watch that's on the East Coast.
Evans Mopar is wondering about four shifters.
That's really a preference question.
Because these guys all hate them. I don't understand why.
I just never had any good experience with them. Like, I guess the only good experience I had was with a mega shifter, and that was in my 78 Trans Am, because it was made for the console. And it worked really good. But all the other ones I've ever had, I never bought a new one because I think they're a little too freaking expensive. I always buy used ones, so maybe just every single used one I ever bought was just junk.
I'm putting a factory console in the Belvedere.
That's cool.
Factory shifter and everything. Might not be ideal, but
I don't like floor shifters with bench seats.
Yeah.
When you have a bench seat, I'd rather have the column shift.
Same. That's one thing I like about the Dusters. I love that column shifter on it.
What up, guys?
What happened?
The column shift with the reverse manual valve body is going to be fun in the satellite, because you'll be shifting backwards, the way I'm used to. I manually shifted my satellite all the time because it was just a 318 two barrel, and it made it seem like it was a little bit faster.
I want to take my column apart, and I want to try and fabricate a gated shifter for the column. I've got this image in my head on how
that sounds like a challenge.
It's not that bad to take it apart. The hardest part is making the gate.
Well, that's the easy part for me. It's just making it all fit and making it all functional.
Well, yeah, but taking it apart is pretty easy. I mean, you got a lot of exploded views on that one.
Oh, yeah, I've had 70 columns apart a number of times.
Right now, I got a 70. I'm going to change the collar on so I can have floor shift.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've got everything to swap a column to a four shift, but
Right. Do you have the bottom piece that eliminates the one for the shifter for the top? The
English, please.
The cup. There's a little cup on the bottom. It doesn't
The
have
tapered part.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have the what you call the spot where you put the pin in and the handle. That's not there anymore. It's smooth all
Yes,
the way around.
yes, I have that.
You got a few of them?
2 or 3.
Okay, maybe I'll talk to you. I need one.
Yeah. Everybody needs
those
one.
columns are insane. When I was at Mopars in the Park, looking for one for that Coronet, the guy wanted like $800 for a rebuilt one.
Wow.
That's because it's 70 though. 70 is that 1 year only crap.
Yeah.
You might as well get an I did it type one.
That's the one thing I don't miss about the 70 Coronet is looking for 70 Coronet parts.
Yeah, that was pretty cool when I found you that dash piece you've been looking for forever.
I've still got that.
I'm glad you're just not going to cut those 70 buckets up now.
Oh, that would have been ridiculous.
I was going to do it.
You want to talk about, there was nothing worse than that thought in my head. I was sitting there on the cancer table getting my head sliced open, and all I'm thinking about, God, I'd rather do this over and over than watch him cut those seats up.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he would have done a video and made you watch it too.
Yeah, I know. It's been awful.
Forget I'm a Pontiac guy, Jed. I don't care about 70 Coronet or RT seats.
Oh, Pontiac. You don't even start that.
Oh.
So right when I was thinking about buying that Duster from Gary, Andy shows me a picture. It's a 78 Trans Am. It's black, and it's got a supercharger sticking through the hood. And he was trying to talk me into buying it. The problem is it was a blown
Smokey
small
the Bandit on steroids.
So it was a blown small block Chevy, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Oh.
I can't do a Chevy in a Pontiac, even though it was supercharged. I was like, if it was a blown Pontiac,
that bad?
Deal.
The same company, GM.
No,
They kind of
no.
I mean, they share their engines like it's nothing.
Yeah.
That's
It's like Mopar does.
There's huge
just
difference.
because it's from the same parent company don't mean it's the same. It's like guys who use
the transmission bell housings are different. The rear ends are different.
Look, I know they're different. I've done Pontiac engines. I know they're different.
It's just wrong. It's like I look like I'm a big Buick guy, but only for the nailhead era stuff. And I've seen guys where they flop later model Buicks or Chevys or anything into a classic Buick with a nailhead.
Oh.
Yes,
You're making Lunar
So
sad.
you're against the LS deal then, huh?
I'm
against electronics.
Well, that too.
Oh, I
but
know
if it ain't like
that.
the period correct engine in there, like if you've got a 66 Buick Wildcat, leave the nailhead in there because it's a badass engine.
Yeah, well, it's a badass part of the Wildcat.
So Lunar, I had a 70 Skylark convertible. It was brown top, brown interior, but it had the chrome Magnum wheels on it. It was a sharp car.
Brown.
I love the body lines of it. It was just a beautiful car.
They're amazing.
The 350 went out on it, so I sold it to a buddy of mine. He wound up putting a 455 in it, but yeah, it was kind of a cool car. Turned me off of convertibles though. You got tired of getting rained on.
I'll be honest. To me, I think they look awesome, but I won't own a convertible.
See, you stop getting rained on when you put the top up.
No, then they leak.
I've owned a couple of convertibles and a couple of T-tops and stuff, and as cool as they are,
they
never
leak
again. Yeah,
I love my
never
Target
again.
But I never had a problem that never took the top off. And I'm retired here now. Weeks it took 2 months to get new free weather strips for the damn. So.
Yeah. The only experience with T-tops I ever had was my mom had I want to say it was an '89 IROC Z28 Camaro with T-tops.
Nah.
Let the mullet flow.
You need a mullet.
It was white with red interior, and it had all the IROC Z28 stuff all over it, and the louvers, and then I mean, it was really cool. The black around the headlights and all that stuff. But
You've graduated from just having a mullet to having chops.
Please don't bring up mutton chops. If my girlfriend's in here, or Brian's still in here, they both want me to grow mutton chops.
Oh, well, you would look cool with them on, so hey.
Oh, there's a reason why I shaved my beard as short as I did.
Don't do it. I went through that phase. It's terrible.
Yeah, I always felt that
Okay,
the Skylar
I'm
was
being
an
correct.
overlooked car.
I'm
Come
being
on,
corrected.
Joe, jump on, Joe. There's one room for one more.
I'm being corrected. It
But I
was an
always felt like
87. It was an 87 Camaro, and it had the 350 in it.
Not too bad. I prefer the 60s and 70s for Camaro.
Mm.
when I was in high school, everybody had Z28s and Trans Ams, the 80 versions, because that was been back in '82. So.
Yeah,
I'm back.
There's only one
How do I know that, Joe?
He's always got a good excuse.
The only non-Mopar on the property, I actually drove it today. It's an awesome, awesome car, but it's not a Mopar. 1988 Cutlass Supreme.
Okay.
It's not a bad car. I like that.
Just
car.
a stock 307, but it's black with red interior, the kind of reddish maroon interior, bucket seat console with the rally gauges with the tack and everything, and I mean air conditioning, everything. I mean the thing's loaded.
Got too much
Power
electronics
seats,
for you,
power windows, everything.
way too much electronics for you though.
What?
That way too much electronics for you in '88.
Yeah, I don't open the hood. Everything works and everything's fine as long as I don't mess with it.
All right, if it's not working, you're not going nowhere near it, right?
But then I just now it's got a check engine light on. I was like, I didn't even know it had a check engine light.
Oh, it's OBD1, baby. OBD1.
I don't know. I mean, it's fine. It drives great. It's got.
I got the hookup to hook it up and everything, but I'm too far away.
I love that it's got the 4-speed overdrive.
Yeah.
Or the 3-speed and then overdrive. Yeah.
When I worked at I-80, one of the girls had one of those G-body 442s with the lightning rod shifters. That was pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Remember the dual gate ones?
It was the Hearst. It was the Hearst version. It was
Hearst 15th anniversary Hearst.
Yeah.
Black with the red stripe and the silver bottom, with the lightning rod shifters.
Yeah, it was.
Now, I'll say this: as far as my argument towards electronics, I may know of a particular 73 V body in my backyard. It's been rotting for. Actually, I checked 3 years. That's the last time I tried to start it. And we converted that thing to dual points. And when it may have been revived over the last weekend, didn't have to touch those at all. It fired right up.
Well, so does my 4-pin.
I like how you're being very vague about it. It might have happened. You're just theorizing. It may or may not.
That's the car that's coming to the No Name Nationals, probably. That's the car.
Any of the cars.
I wish.
I'm not saying which car's coming.
If we're talking vague, I can't say which car I just get the headlights working on, but it was that had some electric drive. My God.
Everything in your yard has an electrical problem, man. I don't need none of that stuff.
That car wasn't from New York; it was from California. You might see it sometime. I don't know when it's gonna be aired. It was fun.
Yeah, that kind of fun I don't want to have.
Well, I mean, look at so when I had an issue when the people that are helping with electrical, like, yeah, hey, I just finished my dashboard wiring. Let me get in there, and it was pretty straightforward. It was just tracking shit down, dotting I's, crossing T's. So
Lunar, I saw one of your videos where you were putting the sound deadener in that little super thing.
Yeah.
So it was funny. About the time I saw that little video of yours, about the time we're doing all the sound deadener in the van for Dad. And I remember Rob being like, "So do you want this little roller installation tool?" And I was like, "No, that's gay." And it was literally funny. I was sitting there doing mine, and I got inside, and it's like, that's why people use the roller. My hands were all cut up. It looks like Freddy Krueger tried to jerk my hands off. And I was watching your little video, and it's like, I was watching you use it. It's like, that looks like a pain in the ass. And all of a sudden I see you not using it. And it's like,
yeah, it's because you think it's going to be a quick next thing you know, you're 8 hours. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That is not a quick job.
No.
That sheet metal ain't forgiving either. It'll cut you.
All right. Well, that shielding they have on the top, it's like you said, Freddy Krueger. Like,
yeah, it's amazing how easily it slices your fingers up, and you don't even realize it.
I've done doors where I had to take the window motors out and replace window motors. I'd always put on sleeves. Always put on sleeves because I cut myself up that bad.
Yeah, sheet metal is sharp. But I'm talking about, just that foil backing. It's amazing how sharp that crap is. And you don't even realize it until you get done for the day and you go and wash your hands, and the tips of your fingers and knuckles and everything are all just completely shredded.
Like the world's worst paper cuts.
Yeah.
It's just tons of them.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. I think my hands are finally, they're mostly all healed up now.
Of course, that if you're doing on a hot day and that tarry shit on your fingers, and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to reach first to get it off. You're like, okay, there's all my cuts. Cool.
Yeah.
Go eat some hot wings. Go eat some hot wings and see how you handle.
Clean your hands off with some brake clean. It'll feel great.
Oh, I have no problem. Life is pain, dude.
I got a
brake cleaner, it soaks into your skin and it can cause cancer, right?
Oh, yeah, anything can. Lacquer, all that stuff will.
Don't mind me, as I'm promoting, not doing stupid things that can cause cancer.
You can always throw that in a lacquer gallon. That'll light up.
So you're saying I shouldn't have my parts washer full of lacquer thinner?
Oh, dude, I used to clean everything in gasoline. I still clean carburetors and gas and ATF, but I wear gloves now. I'm a little more careful with my skin. I don't care about anything else.
Oh, ears too. I so ears are important. Ears and sight.
Oh,
I like Xylene for taking grease off, though. I put the bearings in Xylene and throw them around, and it melts the grease right off. I still pack bearings, People don't pack bearings anymore. Everybody's got sealed bearings. Everything's sealed now. But I still like pack my bearings.
Yeah, I just did that with a trailer a couple months back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll put green bearings in all my Mopars just because I don't like the tapered bearing stuff. It's easy. They're easy to adjust, but I like the green bearings better.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to have to go through and rebuild the rear end for the Belvedere and figure out what I want to do for bearings and stuff. I don't know. I've never done them before. So
green bearings are incredibly easy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But didn't Chris Birdsong say that the tapered will work better if you're doing like road course?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing straight line stuff like drag racing, I think
you gotta understand the Timken bearings, right? The first application for Timken bearings was trains, actual locomotives and cars. So that's where that comes from. They're good for loading. So you got a car that's like the Charger's like 3,800, 4,000 pounds, and you're trying to pull G's on it. Yeah, tapered bearings are a lot better.
Yeah.
A light car like a Dart, you can get away with it though. A light car like a Dart, you can get away with it.
What was that, Winter?
Dart way.
Like my Dart?
I'd say what, 3,200.
I know the early A bodies are pretty light. They're lighter than the later stuff.
Right.
Like my '66 Dart is lighter than my Duster technically, and when you work on that car, it's like there's no way this thing is smaller or lighter because it's huge in person. It's not a small car. When you go to work on it, it's like, holy crap, this thing is small.
Yeah.
The
Get
frame
in
rail,
it, you small.
the front frame rails on it are actually 2 inches narrower than like on a later A body, and that's why headers are a nightmare for that car.
On the earlies, right?
Yeah,
Try to put a big block in one.
actually, so that's what's funny is they say a big block fits better in an early A than a small block does for headers.
Oh, with headers, okay.
That
Yeah.
seems backwards, but yeah.
Well, we're talking about most guys just go straight to fender wells,
Right.
and
I bet
I'm
somebody
not
would pay a
cutting
pretty penny for some clean fender wells on one of those.
yeah, that's like the one part they did molest on that car, and it's like I'm not cutting those up.
Hey, there's just Mopar doing here. Figured out how that I should probably look at the.
Yeah, it's been here for.
What up, man?
Only thing is with A body, you always have to put the header through the damn steering linkage. I hate that.
They did that with the body for a small block. That was
Those super comp headers of mine, they go around the torsion bars on the
Joe. Hop in, my Dust Devil. Hop in. Got all these people here. Let's go.
Oh, Brian's at work technically.
Oh,
Yeah, I believe that.
I just made a video mocking up my headers on my engine, and after I got them ceramic coated, and
Yeah, I saw you got those ceramic coated white. That's
Yeah.
cool.
but I was
They
like
look
trying to
good,
figure
too.
out how the one went back together. It took me a little bit.
It always, yeah, it's like when I take Jezebel's big Headman race headers out, it's like, how do these go back together?
Well, then I didn't notice too, and it's funny because the Jack Bryan originally had super comps on it, so they're the 2-piece flange, right? Because
Yeah.
it's cut, and then you got the piece that you. So I noticed that, and he kept telling me you're going to want to get different headers like TTIs or something.
No,
When I went
not
and
for
grabbed the
big
header
block.
bolts that we took out, I noticed that some of them are longer and some of them are shorter. And I figured out real quickly why that is, because trying to get your hand in there to get the bolt in there to be able to bolt them up to the head.
Ooh.
There's some that like by shortening the bolt a little bit,
So
what
I
we got-
figured out, like,
the
even on the engine
smaller-
dyno with Jezebel's engine, we used 2-inch primary hooker, the race headers,
yeah,
and even on the dyno, fitting those headers sucked.
yeah,
And it makes me really thankful of my Headman race headers. They're 2-inch primary, and they're a much better. Everything stays inside the chassis, and yes, the tubes all snake within each other, but they're like, if you're going to dump $1,000 on big block headers and have them that big of a primary, those Headmans are the only way to go because they fit so good.
is that with angled or straight plug?
Both. So my headers are actually early B body headers. I found out they don't make that part number anymore. They got a new one for the early Bs and the late Bs. And that's the reason why I had to put so many dents and modifications in my headers, was because they're actually for an early B body. It's amazing how well they work with angle plug heads. And I talked to Headman about it. And I mean, if I was going to have to buy a brand new set for the car, that's what I would buy if I'm going to dump $1,000 on headers. Because actually, so a lot of those headers, you got to take them apart. That's why they got all the different pieces. They got that extra tube that comes off for 2, and they all got to be pieced in. I actually found this last go around, if I just take the torsion bar out, drop the steering, those headers will slide up one big piece. No issues. Incredibly easy fitment.
I will never complain about header again after doing the swap into the Super with that V8. I have, fortunately, I didn't buy the header, so I had no guilt whatsoever. There are $1,300 headers that came off the donor card.
Oh,
You're starting so they can hug. They can really hug, and I beat them. Yes, out the drop side because hearing is just fucking A-button.
ooh.
Hey, they showed on Engine Masters that the dents don't really affect.
But
Exactly. You're right.
on a header, you're gonna even
They were
the
It's
pain.
pretty funny when Dulcich was hitting it with a sledgehammer.
Ugh.
Oh, they keep living.
I was like, there's no way that doesn't hurt it. And then he showed it, and it's like, that actually didn't hurt power. I have no idea how, but it didn't.
Do you know what does hurt power, though? You pay someone to make a pipe because your exhaust can only go out in one way. And instead of having your full 3-inch exhaust, they paid $1,000. They chop it and reduce it down to 2.5. And then 2.5 come out and then go into a Y and 1, 2 into it. So,
you create a restriction. You're creating a restriction when you do that.
For that, just so that I can go and bring it to someone else so they can fix it.
Ugh.
Super thrilled by that. And
You got a welder? Why didn't you do it?
because I don't have a pipe bender that can pipe that big for inside.
Oh, okay.
I can do inside diameter, right, up to 6 inches. But
Yeah, well, you could also get some junk pieces and just make the header, but
no, it's not the header; it's the Y pipe. But how much
Y pipe.
I'm not gonna have a Frankenstein one on. So
I was gonna say, like, when I did Jezebel's crazy exhaust system, I just bought a bunch of freaking bins. Like, I drew it out on paper and figured out I roughly need this many J's, this many U's, this many whatevers, and tight radiuses, and placed an order. And I think I did that for like $400, all 3-inch. And that's the mufflers with the zoomies and then the bypass tube, and figure out all the math in my head.
once I do the full workup on the price on the Toyota bad power, way too. That supercharger adds 2.3 liters onto. It'll be surprised.
I don't know what liters are.
What's that?
I don't speak liters.
Oh,
Liter like
cubic inches or no liters.
liter, like a 2-liter thing of like pop or something, or like a 2-liter.
I can hold a 2-liter Mountain Dew to my engine.
One of his lives said, "Don't sleep or don't be sleeping on that car." I showed him the entire list of parts that are coming. Most of them are already here. When I do the workup, I did the MI. It told just how much my supercharger was, and that setup that was $400.
Oh,
there's $30,000 going into that car.
jeez.
When I called out,
Why?
I wasn't.
I know. Exactly what I'm saying, Ryan. Why?
It's not.
Do you know what you could do for a whole lot less money?
So $30,000 to run with a big block Mopar.
Dude, $30,000 would have put a nice G body, G machine frame underneath your nice little satellite there that you got.
I'm gonna have less than 10 in my Belvedere.
For right now, the Mark III Supras, they're not a lot. That red car I picked up is worth $24,000.
Damn.
Yeah, they're going nuts.
There we go. Brian gets the idea. So you added a soda bottle to your car?
Oh shit.
You could feel that way. Fine.
It's funny.
It's
soda bottle full of $100 bills. That's what he did.
What's that?
A gold-plated soda bottle.
Full of dollar bills.
Those, the benefit of that car, though, is I can go to Watkins Glen and have a great time and not feel like I'm going to fall. That's really why I'm building it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love drag racing because it proves your car will hold together and it proves your car is fast. So, also because No Name National looks going to be a fun time.
You got to bring the satellite next year.
No, I'm bringing the Buick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the
Then the
Buick is
satellite.
kind of like his.
What happened to the truck? The truck you were building?
Still waiting on the wiring harness.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah. I hired a guy down in New Zealand to do the wiring harness for the Supra. That cost $2,700.
I say, whatever happened to your
Aren't you an
virtual
electrician?
you were doing too?
2 people talking at once.
Oh, yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, isn't he an electrician?
Well,
He just said wiring harness for $2,700. The man's an electrician.
the guy down in New Zealand, when I called out Tony, I wanted no expense spared. I was taking Bottle Rocket serious. So I was sad that I found out that he actually had no intent accept my call out no matter how much money I put down. So
Like,
okay.
I get that Bottle Rocket might actually be a threat, but it's hard to take it seriously.
Well, I never underestimate anyone.
Right.
Underestimate anyone.
I don't know what Tony's bringing as far as an engine or power plant in Bottle Rocket.
The 318.
Well, I know he's bringing a 318. I just don't know what heads and what he's doing to it to make it going to be able to.
I think he's going to blow nitrous to the moon. He's going to break it.
You never know. There might be a 440 in that thing.
Well, someone said they think that he stripped even more weight out of it too. Like it's even more like his Plan Z. Or
right. Any more weight out, it might fold up like a taco. Dude.
Yeah, that could be a lot of weight out of that car. I don't know how you can take much more without that thing being a rolling death trap.
I know. I've been bench racing with a bunch of buddies about this race because we know what Casper's Ford Hemi makes for power.
700.
Yeah,
700
so
HP, man.
The only chance Tony has, like, if they both have perfect traction and perfect track conditions, there's no chance. Like, if they can both dead hook, there's not a single chance in hell that 318 has a chance of making anywhere near that kind of power, even with like fully ported W2 heads. Even if, like, we all know Tony's got the stash of good parts.
Yeah.
And we've talked about, me and some of my buddies, like, well, if you put W2 heads on this engine, got the right cam and did all this good stuff, he could probably spray it to 700 horsepower, but the overdrive transmission will not handle it.
You know.
That's what I was saying, the transmission. The last time we were talking?
Well, and the 8 3/4 won't handle it either. Right. A heavy car.
But how much does Casper weigh?
I don't know. My Aspen was, what, 3,500 pounds, and I ran 800 through it. And it held together.
That must be a special one. Typically 8 3/4 in a heavy car don't take a whole lot of power.
I ran it that way for about 4 years. It held together. Now, the Sure Grip did crack eventually.
Wow.
But it didn't like explode.
I still think that, I mean, Andy probably has as much money I have in going into the car now, into that engine. That should easily build a hole together and have a great time.
I think it'll be a good race between Bottle Rocket and Casper. I'm curious to see what Tony's bringing to the fight, because I think if he's banking on Casper not getting traction, I think that's an idea, but I think it's a bad plan.
I think it's a poor move. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think Andy does.
I think it's a bad plan that's going to lose traction. I don't think that big pickup's going to lose traction.
But how much does Casper weigh? I mean,
yeah, that's another question.
Because if it does weigh
1,000
pounds, I mean, how light can you get a truck? I know you're building one, Trav.
Fairly light. I mean, if I really went to town, I could probably get mine to 29.
Cool.
If I really want to go nuts with it.
That's really light.
That's a lot of fiber. A lot of fiber.
Yeah, that's trimming out the cross members and replacing them with tubular and fiberglass front end. If you can find doors, cutting the bed up.
Casper's 40.
Okay.
That's right about what my car weighs.
Wilbert, no.
There you go.
Well, John is right. Dynos, there's a correction factor you got to do on a dyno. And depending on what dyno you're on and what correction factor they're running, if it's true or they're fudging it to make it look like you're getting more power than really. Like, we could take Jesbo's 505 and go to 5 dynos and get 5 different peak numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why I like Mark is he's not fudging the numbers. Like, this is what you're going to fucking make. This is about as close as it's going to get.
Right, because you can adjust the brake and everything to change horsepower on a dyno.
Like John, once you hit the track, that's honest numbers. You know.
Right.
Oh yeah.
The dyno really isn't. To me, it really isn't like a horsepower number. It's more of a tuning
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
You get everything tuned in. You get the best power you can on the dyno. Then you stick it in the car, and then you run it on the track, and you do your final tweaks on the track,
Based
and that'll give you your true numbers.
Based on the numbers on the slips that were in the jack pine, it was putting 425 to the rear tires originally. So I'm hoping to beat that a little bit, but based on the numbers and the math, that's what it was used to run. So,
Mr. Wilburn, you're close to Carlisle. How is the road running?
Hey, I've only got two races at No Name so far, and I think I'm gonna lose both of them.
What's up, Ruben?
I had to go against the Jack
Joe.
Pine, and that's
Joe. Right?
Ruben.
Tall Garage said Pat's car or Pat's truck is 2,600 pounds.
Oh damn.
what is?
What kind of truck is it?
Oh, it's right. Yeah, it's his truck. Yeah. Oh shit! What is his truck? A little Ranger or something, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. If it's a Ranger and S10, yeah, they're light.
Yeah,
my car after I take a little bit of weight out of it, still probably going to be 3,400 pounds.
That ain't bad. That ain't horrible.
I don't know.
He's going to have stock interior and everything in it, so it's going to still have stock street trim. It's not going to be.
Mine weighs around 34 pounds. And then pulling that engine and switching it out to the all aluminum one actually saves about 2.5. So with me in it, 3,300 pounds. I saved a lot of weight out of that. App that I don't need.
Oh, Tall Garage said that was a joke, guys. It's not actually 2,600 pounds.
Oh yeah.
You got a bunch of guys that are taking things seriously. You know that, right?
I don't know what to believe whenever somebody says the weight of something anymore, right, Bigfoot?
I've been kind of mean to you on that, but yeah.
Well, what does NSB says the weight of a dead Bigfoot weighs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm racing NSB with my 4,000-pound 12-second car.
Well, I'm
Right.
hopefully.
What is NSB's not Duster, Dartway?
I don't know.
I wonder.
Oh, that thing's pretty set up pretty good, I tell
I was
you.
about to say that thing's probably under 3,000 for sure.
Ah.
When they get it dialed in, it'll be in the 9s.
What's up?
I was about to say for that car to be 4,000 pounds, those roll bars got to be full of concrete. Hey, 2 hacks is in here.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to get another truck.
Oh,
That's
boy.
all I'm
going
gonna
to the
say.
dyno.
You're not gonna tell us what it is, huh?
No, you have to watch the shorts and stuff tomorrow when I'm picking it up.
Well, I always watch your shorts, so I'll get to it.
You guys will have to wait and see dyno results tomorrow. That'll be fun.
For
Ooh.
Saturday morning, right?
It'll be Friday evening or Saturday morning when I actually get the video up.
I love dyno videos.
It's getting dyno tomorrow.
Refresh my memory. What is it?
It's a 440. So long story short, I'll just kind of say the specs because there's more people in here than when I was talking earlier. But it's a 440 that's 40 over, stock, stroke, everything, not a stroker. It's 40 over. It has 6-pack pistons. It has 6-pack rods. The rods are lightened on the ends and balanced to the crank, and the crank has a lot of weight taken out of it as well. It is a stock forged crank. And the pistons are sitting up pretty high at less than 10 thousandths down from the deck, I'd say. It has 906 heads that have been cut between 20 and 30 thousandths. I don't know exactly. And that'll bring the compression 10.2 or so to 1.
No!
And they're very heavily ported 906 heads. And trying to think of what else. Very heavily ported 906, a lot of bowl work done. I got a little video.
What cam are you running?
That's the thing. I just put the cam back in. I found it all like this. I just took it apart, put new gaskets in, basically putting it back together. I don't know the duration specs on it because the cam number didn't tell me anything. It was just the core grind number that was on it. It's a Crowler cam. It's 540 lift, and it's got it's a hydraulic flat tappet with trying to think. It's 1.6 ISKI rockers, and it has a Y-end accelerator intake. So
I think
it'll
there's
do
some
pretty
power
good.
that would be gained on the cam. You go to a solid flat tappet, or if you dump the money on a solid roller, there's some power to be gained, especially with the port work that's been done to them heads.
And I did the math on what would happen if I kind of, for the cam at least, if I put 1.6 ratio rockers on it, that would bring the cam up to about a 578, 580.
You gotta what?
Pistons
Well,
to valve clearance.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that.
Right, you gotta make sure your flow numbers are gonna match that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna call it at 600 horse.
Oh,
Plus or minus 10.
Much. I don't think it'll be that much. But and if anybody wants to look, I've got more detailed specs in the community tab on my channel, and I got a poll up there for people to vote on what they think it'll do.
I missed the poll. I was going to say I'm more at like the 550, 560 number with the smallish cam with the ported heads. I don't think that's a great combo.
Right.
But yeah.
I think it's a decent size cam. You know, that's just mostly for me because I stick closer to stock than most people. But, you know, compared to the 450 or so lift a 440 Magnum came with, you know.
Yeah, that's what my 440 has in it. And it's really not a whole lot of cam.
Right.
Yeah. I think the whole,
and it's on a 108 or 107 lobe separation, I believe.
Wow. You ain't gonna have any vacuum.
That's the point. Nobody needs vacuum when they're going fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Vacuum sucks. Remember that.
I got a disc brake
manual
conversion.
brakes. You got manual brakes, right? Disc brakes. That's all you need.
Yeah, I got a disc brake conversion I might throw in it. I'll probably need the disc brakes. That'll add a little bit of weight to the car, though. Be all right. But yeah, Ruben said, where was it?
Oh,
if we guess the exact, can we win a shirt? If anybody goes to that poll and guesses the exact number, I'll send you a shirt.
Oh, I'll get freaking crazy then. I was gonna say, I mean, in order to get 600 out of a 440 with basically a stock bottom end, you gotta have basically full on a max wedge engine, like high compression, big cam. You gotta have all that kind of crap to kind of get to the 600 number.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to, I'll leave it at just the horsepower number, but put torque number in there too. If anybody wants to go to that poll, it's in the community tab of my channel.
I'm at 575.
If anybody guesses,
600.
If anybody puts in the comments, you got to put it in the comments so I know it's legit. Before the video's out, if anybody puts exactly what it is, the exact number, I'll send you a shirt.
601, Bob.
But
remember, if you go over, you're automatically out.
It's the exact number, or it's nothing. Yeah, I'll send you a shirt that'll have that design on the front of it.
Cool.
That design or that design, your choice.
Muscle City Madness wants to know what heads.
What heads are on it? Oh, 906s that are like ported to the moon. I wouldn't go that far, but they're. I mean, my engine builder looked at him and he's like, "You couldn't pay me to do that."
That's probably one of those deals where the guy did it himself. You know,
and the engine was built originally based on the date on the rod cap 1988 or 1989, pretty much 1988. So it's an older build. It had a tunnel ram on it at one time. It's got a high-rise single plane on it now.
If you had the tunnel ram back, you definitely see a big gain.
Yeah, I don't know if it's practical for my use or not.
No, dude, I daily drive Jezebel.
You can't
Literally.
But it would look cool, regardless if it would give you anything. Dual quad sticking out of the hood looks cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a hood scoop on it, so it might clear, but I don't know. Ruben, 485. It'll break 500. I'm betting it'll break 500.
Oh, it'll break 500 easy.
Yeah, it'll do that easy peasy.
You
Ruben,
can do that with unported heads.
You can put a different number.
I'm hoping.
You can do that with a 10-to-1 440 with unported heads and a good cam. You can break 500.
Gary makes 500 easy with 440s. Yeah, with just stock heads, bigger valves. Or
right.
Mhm.
It's not hard to break that 500 with a 440.
And these heads do have the bigger valves. They're the 214 181.
Let's see.
I got a set of 906s that came with the bigger valves, but they need to be made to fit. They don't have any.
Yeah, that's a 214 181. And
I'm saying your engine tops at 6600, Ryan.
Tops at what?
I'm thinking 66, 67. I'm going to call it 6700 just because I've seen your port work. And I know Jezebel's, I'm calling it 66 because Jezebel's technically done at 5500. That's where it stops making power, but that's stock ports on those Victor.
You think I should run it that high? 6600 RPM?
Well, I don't know. We don't know exactly what your cam really is. So
right. We don't know the duration specs.
Ruben, Dick Landy made a lot of power with 906 heads. He preferred 906s to 452s because he could get more out of them. Stock iron heads before we had aluminum heads, that's all people had. And they were building full-blown boogie, like max wedge heads. They're just massively overported with a closed chamber. So, yeah, you can make over 600 horsepower with iron heads. And actually, iron heads are better for making horsepower because they hold the heat better.
Yeah. 906s, very arguably, are the best for the money iron head that Mopar made. I mean, you can get the max wedge stuff, but that's expensive, and you can get those closed chamber 915s. Those are good, but they're kind of hard to come by.
Okay, I'm giving you 6,400 RPM, and it's all in the gamble of your cam. If I knew more on your cam, I'd feel more kosher about that. Your cam is the wild card,
right? That's the only thing that's unknown.
I'm just taking it to 8.
I really don't want to take it over 6, but
dude, you gotta. I've seen your bottom. I've seen the bottom end on that engine. It's got like the same kind of work that was done in my Pro Stock Hemi. Like it
looks like there was a lot of weight taken out of it.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work. So
you kind of get to the point where you're worried about piston speed.
Yeah. I don't know. It just comes down to make a couple runs, get it kind of close,
right,
and then just slowly keep creeping that number up until you watch your numbers drop off, and then go a couple hundred RPM over that.
And then we're gonna break out the salad bowl. The salad bowl.
I'm not.
A little too much roadkill and too much engine masters.
Oh, I watch that stuff. Yeah.
I love Engine Masters.
Oh yeah, I love the magazine and I love the show.
But it's had a lot of work done on the bottom end, and I just can't even believe how much work there is done to it.
Take care, guys. I got that out.
You have a good night, man.
Yep.
All right, later, man. God, quick.
You didn't even get to hear us say goodbye.
It's delayed.
I have now.
Go look at the YouTube
we revved
channel.
it up to 5,800.
Yeah.
What was back?
But the 512 before that, we took up to 6,000 to 6,100 because it had the better heads.
I might be optimistic on the RPM for Ryan's engine then.
Well, and it's
Trick Flow 270s. It liked to live around 6,000, 6,100.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get there at 9. I'm gonna get there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're gonna probably have the engine on the dyno by 9:30. And I gotta do a lot of setup yet. I mean, because it's got those. And this is probably just me being an idiot, but it's got the adjustable rockers with the hydraulic lifters. And I did not want to put those at 0 lash just to have a hydraulic lifter pump up and try to bend something. You know, I don't know if they're lost pressure.
I just don't know how much revving can you do before you get valve flow.
Well, what I'm trying to do is I just want to get it warmed up, get it running, and then probably pop the valve covers off again and make sure everything is happy and make sure that lashes and everything is set the way it should be. You know, it's hydraulic lifters, so it can take a little bit of.
It seems like an odd choice, doesn't it? Though, to build an engine like that and then go.
Yeah.
It's like maybe I was saying. I think somebody was detuning it. You know, they had the engine and then they took the tunnel ram off and then they put a milder cam in it or something because they were trying to detune it. Well,
the story of the engine goes like this. The guy that had it before me is where I got all those parts in South Carolina. He restored or was in the process of restoring a 70 Roadrunner for a guy, and that engine was in it. So he took it out, and he took it out as it is, pretty much, except it had the tunnel ram on it. And the guy's buddy came along, and he's like, "Hey, I want that tunnel ram." Okay, popped the tunnel ram off and gave it to him, and then I got what it was. So it is, aside from the intake, it is as it was when it was running in the car.
But it just seems like an odd choice.
Right. I don't dispute that.
Hydraulic lifter.
Yeah, because you would rather go solids or solid roller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an engine combo. It's
right,
kind of like taking my pro stock Hemi with all the work done to it.
You see all the work done to the bottom end there. Travis, I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, mine's kind of an oddball too because I mean, I got a almost 600 lift cam with unported heads, and I'm making 500 horse.
Yeah,
unmoted. You know, so mine is kind of an oddball too. So this doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
well, you and I, Travis, put down the same boat. I've got. Oh shit! What is it? I think my duration's like 260 at 50 thousandths and 640 thousandths lift on a 1:5 ratio, and it's just stock port Victor head though, and those heads flow way more than any iron head can, even in stock form on 500 inches, and we're making 640 basically.
Yeah, if anybody wins, they can get a shirt.
Cool.
You can't see that, but you get the idea.
Go 575.
One of the things that this engine that I have now is Gary wanted to go with a different cam, and he said he would have got me 650 horse, but this one was the Ultradyne cam. It was an older cam, so I trusted the lifters, and it's a 277 duration, 640 Ultradyne. It's actually pretty mild cam. It sounds pretty mild compared to the other one. Yeah. And it makes a little more torque. But.
Yeah, but that's not the duration at 50 though, probably.
I thought it was 277.
That's a lot of duration at 50 for that kind
of. Yeah, that seems more like advertised.
That's advertised, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like I know, so like the Pro Stock Hemi, I remember when I called Lunati to get the cam specs on it to read off the numbers. It took me a couple minutes to process the lift specs in my brain and the duration numbers because I had to. They brought out some old guy, and he was like, I got to dust off the book for this cam, and it was like the first Lunati catalog. He flipped it open, and he's sitting there going through the numbers, and he goes, "Yep, 816, 774 lift, 292, 300 at 50 duration," and I was like, "What?"
That's a monster cam.
That's the cam in the Pro Stock Hemi. It's fucking massive. And
That's
it's got
ridiculous.
It's got 1-inch lifters in it.
Dang.
No, they're not 1 inch. They're 30 thousandths oversized. Standard Christ wears 900 thousandths, 903 thousandths, and this has got 933 thousandths.
Wow. That's close enough. Yeah, whenever my engine builder told me, he says, yeah, it's gonna be a was it 236, 242, and 590 lift. I was like, wait a minute, I wouldn't even consider putting more than a 550 in there. He's like, no, it'll work. It'll be fine.
It's probably a little like my cam and Jezebel's probably a little more than I needed, and same thing probably with yours, like with the ports. But who cares?
Well, if you look at the flow numbers though, those MAX heads fall off right at 600.
Oh,
the flow numbers fall right off at 600. So I think that's why he did it.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
He was matching the cam to the heads.
Yeah. That's always the best thing to do.
Right.
An engine's a package.
Mm-hmm.
I see Raker's talking about putting 906s on Ruben's Roadrunner. I don't think he'll, like, if he's already got 452s on the Roadrunner and it's just stock for stock.
They're very similar.
You won't notice the difference unless it's valve seals, like the valves actually sealing up to the seats and stuff.
Unless it's wear and tear.
I saw one of Ruben's videos where he was
What's the
holding up
compressor
the
on
heads
his
and
engine?
pulled out that they were milled.
They were milled?
Oh, he has no.
Off of his heads to give it a
No,
little bit
he has 906 heads that have been cut and milled that he was told that these are some trick 906s and was thinking about putting them on his Roadrunner. And if they are milled and if they are supposedly these trick 906s, then yeah, but
because that would definitely boost the compression on his 400 that he has in his.
Oh yeah,
and I think
if they're milled,
yeah,
because if they're not milled, the chamber size is the same. If I remember.
Oh, the 906 is from Richard. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely gonna have to have a cam to take advantage of the ports and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. The sad part is like the engine that I've got now would make a great street engine for my satellite because it's really tame. You know, it's got really good manners.
Okay, what's the vacuum at idle on that engine?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I don't know. I've got manual brakes and stuff on the satellite. So
who pays attention to vacuum at idle?
Well, some of us are street guys, okay? Some of us drive cars on the street.
When I say I literally daily drive Jezebel, I mean I do. When I went to go,
what's the mileage? What's the mileage on Jezebel?
I don't care.
Per block, right?
Big forts and motors. What's happening, brother?
Like when I had to go deliver Brian's 850 that he bought from me, I threw the package in Jezebel, fired the car up, literally turned the key, idles at like 1200 RPM, warmed up, down to the post office, and straight back.
That's kind of the way I drive overhead too. But I got the vacuum in there for tuning, so I can tune the carburetor.
Oh,
that's why I pay attention to it because I use the wideband and the vacuum gauge to tune the carburetor.
You tune to the highest vac, right?
Yeah, highest vac and best AFR.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we tuned Jezebel on the dyno with the EGT, so we were balancing cylinder to cylinder distribution.
Yeah, if this 850 I picked up, if it works, I'm definitely probably gonna have to mess with the jetting on it.
Yeah, don't be afraid to mix and match jets because when you're done, you won't have the same jets in all four corners.
Right.
It's got 83s in the front and 90s in the back.
Right. Well, if I remember, that might be flooding it a little bit. I don't know, but
that's just as I picked it up. I took it apart partially. I took the bowls off, made sure everything was clean. Everything's really nice and clean inside. Sprayed through all of the orifices and stuff, and everything seemed really nice. So I just kind of threw it back together. Brand new gaskets, those blue non-stick gaskets.
So Blake, I don't know if you were in earlier, but as soon as I got home, I was all excited. Wanted to see if it was possible just to throw the engine in my car to get it down the
Yeah.
track. And I drained the transmission pan, and that wasn't looking too good.
Oh no.
Looked like somebody dumped a little bit of glitter in there.
Yeah, it's got some boat metallic.
Oh,
She
cool.
broke in,
Nice.
man.
That's a nice
But
color.
it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No, it's good. You
Yeah.
It got
that
a little bit of the silver
all
paint from your satellite in there
the
somehow.
bushings and
Yeah.
stuff are worn away. You're ready to go.
But
It means it's broken in.
As long as it's not
What was
really
that?
chunky, you're all right. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Mark, did you like all the little Bigfoots that I sprinkled through the video today?
Yeah, that was awesome, man. I was enjoying it. Yeah.
Well, guys, I got to get up early and head north. So I'll catch y'all later.
Hey,
Be looking for the videos tomorrow.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
seeing you, buddy.
Tomorrow or Saturday morning, I'll have the dyno video out. So
Okay, cool. I'll be looking for it.
Mhm.
All right, later, guys.
Have a
See
good
ya.
night, Travis.
Later, man.
I'm thinking that we're gonna take Nacho down to Dubuque and do it on a chassis dyno
yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah.
once we get it built. But I talked
Alright,
to
so-
There's
Ed's
a place I can
machine
take
today,
the
and
jack mine too. When I get it running again, I can take it to it. There's a guy who's got a chassis dyno. So
they'll have one at Mopar's in the park.
yeah,
I called the guy up with my pistons today, and I'm like, kind of sitting on my thumbs, thinking about doing cam bearings. Could really use the pistons and rods, to continue to move forward.
yeah.
So when do you think that's going to be? Next week, I'll have them shipped out to you. Okay, sounds good.
So Blake,
Yeah.
just to update you, I'm doing a dyno tomorrow on the 440, and I've got a poll of guesses and people guessing the horsepower in the community tab on my channel.
Make sure it's got the 2% correction factor on the dyno, because that's real world, real atmosphere. Anything that's got a bumped up correction factor, that's just the dyno guy trying to make themselves look good.
No, he's straight shooter. He doesn't mess with stuff. No,
Well, just,
my dad's known
when
him
you,
for like
when you see the
35
correction
years.
factor in the top right corner, make sure it says at least 2%,
Mhm.
because that's real world. Anything
And then-
above that, they're trying to boast your horsepower.
Well,
On
anyways,
that,
long story short, if you guess the
They
exact,
can change Mopar nut when you do a run on a dyno, and then you change the correction factor. So most correction factors are 2%, and that's real world atmosphere.
yeah.
So if you bump it up to 11 or 12%, that'll make your engine seem like it's got 60 horsepower more
Yeah.
than real world horsepower.
Right.
So
like-
when you see dynos that put correction factors of above 2%, they and you might not know it or whatever, but they would tell you a number that they're going to make you on horsepower, and they can fuck with it and skew it on their
Right.
correction factor.
so
What
long
do you think
story
Renato's
short,
gonna do?
So if they promise you a number and they can't make it, look at that correction factor.
Yeah.
long
you're
story
right.
short, if you go in the comments and you guess the horsepower and you guess it exactly right, we'll send you a t-shirt.
I'm going to say, 480 horse
No,
and a correction factor of
Oh,
2%.
not even close, Blake. It'll break
Hey.
5 without trying.
I think
How
it'll
about the
break five.
nacho? How about the nacho? What's that gonna put through the wheels? I want to know what it does.
The nacho
What's
through
your
the
number?
wheels will probably be like 300 and something.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I'm gonna go 325.
That's what I'm thinking. At the crank,
325.
close to 500, high 400s. It's not a super sweet, high expensive W2 motor.
I also
It's just an
R3.
aluminum head. It's going to be a clench motor, 10-7-1 compression.
That's a nice street motor.
It's going to be a high revving
Yeah.
son of a bitch with a 3500 stall. So hopefully it'll run through the traps around 11s.
Yeah,
Jeremy, I thought he'd be low 12s, and he was running 1250s all day.
But
I think
that,
he
I
needs more
can't
gear.
believe
such
we
a dull
had
gear.
58 people
320.
watching that live or that premiere of us going to the drag strip. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was a cool video, man.
It
Curious to
sucked
see
to
what
edit.
this 440 dyno video might do. That might be pretty good.
I had
Seems
12
like people
hours
like
of
dyno
editing
videos.
that
Do you think
video.
Jeremy wants that 373? Or
I
does he
think
still want to
so.
go 355?
So
If
Jeremy's
you don't want a
so cool
373,
with
I'd take a
running.
373.
Jeremy's so fucking like on top of 12.5. That's awesome. You know, that's a great street strip car, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right.
that's badass.
You don't need a cage. It's a great car, but that thing rattles and shakes at the top end. It's so crazy. I'm talking him into, well, Bigfoot, you got that sure grip that you're talking about pulling out.
Somebody just guessed 447 horsepower.
Holy crap! I
They're
just
not
did the
taking
math.
into consideration your heads or the crank lightning and all the stuff.
Yeah, if they were stock head, stock crank, stock weight on all the rods and the crank and everything, then
Yeah.
maybe. But
Bigfoot, that 373 that you were talking about, that
Yeah.
sure grip. If we could borrow that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That
like
car
that
is actually
borrow.
at Cullen's right now. He's trying to fit those 295s in there. So if he's out by Mankato, it's like an hour.
let me know when you get the springs out of that if you still want to get rid of
Yeah,
those.
and then those subframe connectors. I showed Chris Birdsong's video on how he does his subframe connectors. So
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do
He
that.
does them really good.
Bigfoot acted just like a Bigfoot. Me and Jeremy go to the final round and win and go looking for Bigfoot. And he's nowhere near. He's already on the fucking highway driving home.
By the time I turned around to go back, I was falling asleep on the drive home.
Oh, I bet, dude.
Yeah.
You left at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. It was worth
Like
it, though.
you said, a correction factor of 2 for the dyno.
Well, that's everything that I read in magazines. Like
I was
Hot
gonna
Rod
say, I
Garage
just did the
was
math.
doing the whole
Well, I know
your
that you got to
dyno
correct it
guy
to sea
would
level.
fuck you over kind of deal.
Yeah.
And the real correction factor should be 2%.
I did the math.
Tall
My
Garage
machine
says
uses a 1.17 correction ratio.
Tall Garage.
Yeah, but when you see
says,
guys running 11% or 12%,
Yeah,
Tall
mine.
Garage
then
says
all of a sudden you got
800 llama thrust.
you got 60 horse more than what.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jeff.
So
Yeah, Tall Garage says it'll have 800 llama thrust.
Oh, twin hat.
What's up, Blake?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, it's Thursday night.
You're a
You gotta-
busy man.
You got a
I'm
little bit of
always
an open
busy.
spot.
So
I'm always busy.
You got an open spot in the garage.
Kind of.
Well, he's got what I like in the back of that garage.
Hang out, twin hacker.
I know it's not that far away.
We got to do some Mr. Norm stuff and hang
Yeah,
out and drag race. And
I've got to get that thing fixed. God, that's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
It's a big project, you know.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight.
I'm not even touching it until I'm gonna get a frame to hold it together because it's pretty weak. But I'm going to I got to get my car done, man, and I'm just running into delay after delay after delay after delay. So
Yeah, tell me about it.
sorry,
That's why I
guys.
just took that
I'm out.
440
Jed,
apart, looked at it. It was good. Threw it back together, and I said, I am not messing with it.
Jed, you were talking about like 8
I'm
3/4
just waiting on some.
earlier.
What was that, Mark?
You were talking about like 8 3/4 earlier and about how much power and stuff to put through them.
Yeah, it's all really it's hearsay,
weight
but a lot of it has to do with like weight. Like a lot of guys, like the reason why you see 8 3/4 living in dragsters because they don't weigh nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So that was one of my concerns. So what I wound up doing was I went through Dr. Diff and I wound up having him just put together a 489 case with the same gears. I almost went 456 for the 8th, but this car is going to be more of a quarter mile car. So he put together a 430 spool for me with 35 spline. And then I got new axles, and then I'm going to put a back brace on it. So
back brace for sure, especially in the jack pine, would be a great move.
I hear guys running their Hellcat swaps with 8 3/4.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that'll be a good solid. I mean, because the car is pretty light, so I think.
What? You like
4,000
that
pounds,
German
right?
engineering?
Bigfoot, Annie's sitting here. She wants to say hi to you.
Oh, hey, yeah, we're video buddies.
It was so fun to meet you.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I had a good time. Yeah.
It was super fun.
It was way awesome, Bigfoots, to have you just hanging out there watching how everybody does everything.
Oh yeah.
I hope that you pick something up.
It was definitely hard sitting on the sideline though. I almost did pull out the wife's Acura.
You got to see the damn it tie when I had to put the.
If you would zoom in, you'd see all my page information.
Yeah.
You think it'll be a 6-second 8th car? No, probably not. I do not think I'll get in the 6s with it.
So what's a 6-second 8th correlation to quarter?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Jeremy's got a 408.
Like a 10-9.
11, right?
Jeremy's got a 402 stroker motor that runs flat 8s in the 8th.
A 7-second 8th mile is 1092.
Okay. Because the jack pipe ran a 7.8.
But
a 7.05 is 11 flat.
On paper, it says that. That's not real world.
Well,
yeah, not with 456 gears.
One of the time slips in the car, it was averaging like a 7.28 8th mile. So
I gotta tell you,
previous combination,
Mr. Foote, as soon as you left, that blue Mustang shit out. It was bad. I'm like, dude, that's Bigfoot's favorite car.
Actually,
he was like totally.
I actually like that blown.
He puked all over the starting line.
That was my favorite.
Oh, that silver Chevelle?
Yeah, with the blower.
Oh, I thought it was the blue Mustang.
Yeah. No, I like that one. It was pretty. It was like the same color blue as my car. So.
The one that you were taking pictures of when we went down to
Yeah.
You took me down there. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But that Mustang, he went up right after you left. And he like tried to leave.
Blew everything up.
Oh,
yeah. That sucks.
They had
That's my
to bring.
biggest fear.
Oh yeah.
What? Okay, you guys, why are you out here? I'm trying.
But yeah, it's
What'd
like
you
if
say?
anything breaks,
What'd you say, Mark?
No name nationals, it'll be like a hard press to.
It was good practice for no name nationals. That's for sure. And to be out there with such high winds and put in your dial time and win.
One of the things
my
I
car
learned
won't
too
be
is like for all of us that are going to be going to no name nationals, they're going to be taking video footage. Definitely got to take into consideration the fact that there's going to be wind noise and stuff. So I'm already looking at like a mic with like a sock, type thing to help try to cut down on some of that.
Dude, that semifinal win in-car audio was so distorted because I was screaming, like freaking the hell out, like I just beat the guy that ran 000s on a reaction time. I get to run Jeremy in the final. Holy shit. And then
I would have liked to have stayed, but man, like I said, I knew I had another 4 hours ahead of me, and I was already kind of winding down. And
at the 1,000 foot, I lifted against Jeremy, and I was thinking about not getting back in it, just rolling through the finish line, And then I got back on it. And I'm like, there is no easy way to earning a trophy, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And he looked in his mirror, and mirrors are backwards, right? Like iPhone movies. He thought he had the win light, so he was so jacked when he met me. He thought he won.
Oh wow.
That would
And
have been sad.
I'm like, Jeremy, you almost had me, man. Wait, I
Yeah.
didn't win? No, man, I won. Well, fuck you.
Yeah, JMR definitely not going to be a 6. I'm thinking mid 7s. A
The best part of
7.5.
that whole video was us putting the dick valve stem covers on J Ray Racing's car.
Jury,
A 7.5 is an 11.70.
those guys, they've like since they've started, they've taken what 0.6 off their times.
Yeah, but they're bracket racers, so they're breaking in a motor, so they're always going to be continuously breaking out, so it's not good for them.
Yeah.
So he messaged me and he's like, I had the quickest ET and the best reaction time.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and did you notice how that didn't equal a paycheck in your hand?
Yeah.
You know, it depends on when you have that good reaction time, when you have that good dial-in time.
Yeah.
And
That's the one thing I don't understand.
He was just all over the
I don't
place.
understand how the whole bracket racing thing works. That's one of the things I like about the No Name Nationals too, is like kind of like the heads up type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's going to be the first day, and there's going to be 2 days of bracket classes.
Yeah.
In between all that, so whatever that class is, whatever the money that you win, that's what I'm wanting to go for. Is I want to go rounds.
Yeah.
In that, so grudge race against Just Mopar Joe and Dodge Whisperer and all that shit. That's fun and all, and I don't give a shit if I'm faster or slower. It's only going to benefit us as channels of getting exposure. But once that bracket class comes in, that's when I'm going to be set to kill.
Yeah.
And the fun's over, and the hey Blake, how's it going? And you know what it was like, Mark, when you were trying to talk to me when I was racing. I'm kind of a dickhead. I don't listen to you. I'm focused. I want to race.
Yeah.
And you're going to find out when you're running around with your GoPros and your cell phones and shit, and you're trying to talk to people, they're in race mode.
Yeah.
They're not in chit chat Kathy mode, So, but there's also going to be a ton of people there that don't have the race experience, that are there, as the No Name 500, and they will want to chit chat and Kathy up and do an interview and all that shit. But you'll find the real racers versus the first timers.
I'm probably just going to make my 3 passes, 3 to 4. I think I got 4 if I raced Ryan. There's 2 Ryans, Ryan Wing and Barsness both. Yeah.
Ryan's
so that's probably much all I'm going to run. I don't think I'm going to do any of the bracket stuff.
Somebody just commented on one of my videos and is like, "You're gonna smoke some people at No Name." Not when I'm facing Bigfoot and Joe.
I wouldn't think of it that way.
It's going to take me a while to get it all figured out. Just watching at the track, just
think of it,
all the hand signals,
doing your call out races. Think of your call out races as test and tune. They're a throwaway race. They're not really anything.
Yeah.
Well, and at the end of the day,
towards your bracket race that's going to come in later in the day.
There's going to be
2 days of bracket racing.
Yeah.
2 days of call out racing.
If time allows, there's definitely going to be more races than there are call out if time allows. Like, there's going to be somebody that'll come up to somebody that's like, I have no idea who you are, but I think your car's cool. We run similar times. Let's line up. You know?
Oh, for sure. This summer I'm going to run Nacho, and I'm probably going to run 0.3 faster when I go down to Sykeston, just because of the elevation change. You know, we're running at 1,300 feet. Sykeston's running at 300 feet. Has anybody considered that?
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta have richer air.
So everybody's saying, I'm not going to post my times at my local track where you're at 3,000 foot, 12,000 foot, whatever. It doesn't really matter if you post your times or not.
Everywhere you go, every day is going to be different with the elevation and the temperatures and the humidity and all that, you know.
Oh, yeah, humidity.
So
for sure.
you're going to have guys showing up to Sykeston set to kill, like me, when I get anywhere around drag racing. All I think about is how am I going to win, you know? And you'll probably think, hey, Blake, why are you a dick? Why aren't you talking to me? And it's probably because I'm really super competitive.
And I'm going to worry about how good my paint job looks.
Yeah.
Do I have the best paint job here?
The show and go class. Jeremy's got a chip on the hood, Mr. Ford.
I know.
Mine's going to look okay when it's done, but I don't know.
Well, then you see guys blowing budget garage that are so worried about painting their car before they go to No Name Nationals. Fuck the paint. Take your car to No Name Nationals and run it. And then the next year of No Name Nationals, bring your car finished and painted.
I'm going to create a category, pretty show car category for the No Name Nationals. You know.
Well, depending on what car I bring, Mark, I might get you run for your money with a pretty black satellite.
Oh, nice.
The Nacho's not going to be in that class.
Yay, satellite's coming.
The rolling artwork class. The rolling artwork class.
I'm not saying which car's coming, Mopar or not. I'm just saying if I was going to bring a pretty car, I don't know, the Duster might be painted by then.
Are you going to go back to green with the Duster?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, that car's got to be the factory color.
Is that F8?
62, you used to hate me so much.
I never hated you. You just took it that way.
So that last
like you said, you can be a dick.
That last Duster video that I just put up, it was that B3 blue. Yeah.
I love that color. That's plumb crazy. They painted the engine bay. It made me throw up, especially when I saw it was B3. Like, oh!
I just picked up a 69 GTX that's B3 blue.
Isn't there a thing on the internet if you say B5 blue 3 times, Judd shows up out of nowhere?
Yeah, it's true. B5.
Yeah, the last live. Where what are we?
It was hilarious. That was so hilarious.
Awesome.
But if I would have bought that Duster Jet, I would have painted it back to the B3 because I like that color.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty.
We got to bring orange cars. You got to bring orange cars to make Jed mad.
That 69 GTX I just picked up. What a pile! But it is a real GTX.
I was kind of trying.
So Ruben has to be there with his orange Road Rider.
Talking about how.
What are you talking about? Me not liking orange?
The other live, you said you hated orange cars.
No, I didn't.
I don't.
Dust Devil said he hates red cars.
Right.
I was gonna say my favorite color is red, so I don't have anything against orange. I just don't like.
Well, Dust Devil's car isn't completely not red.
Okay, let's paint it really Bahama orange, man. Really high impact.
Yeah, I just get sick of seeing high impact colors on everything.
They are everywhere, aren't they, Jed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
It's like I love Plum Crazy Purple, but not when it's on everything.
Yeah,
I like having my nice A4 silver car. You know, it's like
I kind of personally like statutory gray.
Yes.
In certain light, everyone thinks I painted my satellite that destroyer gray.
I hate that destroyer gray.
It makes me mad. I'm like, no, wait till the sun comes out and all the flake.
Destroyer gray is primer with clear coat on it.
Yep.
So
that's a good way. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I don't like it either. But when it is like the lighting is just like overcast and stuff.
It's
My car
like
does look that color.
it's like a high impact color on a notchback, and low like a destroyer gray or a green on a fastback Barracuda. Like I could see a notchback being a road racer TA kind of car, and I could see a fastback being as a super stock kind of car. You know what I mean?
I like the fastback. The fastback is my favorite.
Like a 68 super stock.
So,
Yeah.
like, my dream would be a 68 notchback set up for road racing with the Class B hitch that would pull my dolly with my fastback straight car behind it. And
Ruben,
just
you got a
drive
point.
around.
B5 Blue is played out a lot.
Well, B5 was actually the most popular color in 1970.
And
But the other
1971.
the other thing
1971,
with
it was the highest
B5
production.
The other thing to that is technically there's not a single Mopar out there that is B5 unless it's wearing its original paint because you cannot recreate it.
Yeah, not exactly.
So they're B5S.
When Andy,
Why can't you recreate it?
It's like plum crazy, curious yellow, Hemi orange. That's like the three colors I see.
Rally
everywhere.
red.
Yeah.
so 19
the
years
same.
ago,
How about
19
Tor Red? Did you see Tor Red?
That's
Not
Hemi
really.
orange.
It's mostly like they do the greens, they do the yellows, they do just around here. It doesn't matter what the original color was. They always want a car just like pops, and it's kind of
I
like
hate that lime green. I
Jeez.
hate that color.
like in moderation they're good, but just like when you walk down a row of cars, it's just like holy shit.
If you got a lime green car, you got to cover that up with as much black as you can. Black stripe, black out hood, black top, black
That's
interior.
kind of why I'm looking forward
Lime
to
green
painting the Duster.
metallic, dark.
Yeah. So
Well,
like the
I
Duster's
love-
originally
I love,
F4. It's
I
the
love
light
F8.
green metallic, but I'm gonna paint it F8.
Back in a
F8.
minute.
I love F8. I was going to paint
I
my 71
I like
satellite
cream
F8 with
and
a
metallic
black
red
hood.
from '67.
Yes.
Cream
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
metallic red.
It's like a
Look,
champagne, right?
That '67 metallic red just looks so good.
But hey,
I know
Hey,
when
you can
Andy
paint any
painted the
color you
Jack
want.
Pine Savage, he
Hey,
had
hey.
he got the metal flake from Germany because it was the closest he could find to what he was looking for. You were talking about not being able to make the B5 blue anymore,
Yeah.
but I think it's got a
Hey,
little bit better, bigger flake. It's not a true
Bigfoot.
factory B7.
I don't mean to cut you off, but hey, Mopar Nut 62, I gotta peel out because my daughter's got school tomorrow, and there's donuts with Dad tomorrow at school.
Cool.
And I
Nice.
gotta get ready for that. So it was nice hanging out with you guys.
You jumping
Yeah.
off?
Enjoy the donuts, man.
Yeah, I gotta peel donuts with
All right,
Dad
we'll see.
tomorrow. That's
That's
2
cool.
hours of my life that I don't want to be a part of, but.
Oh, come on, it's a nice sugar high.
Man, if they're Krispy Kremes, then yeah, I'm all for it. But I really doubt it.
All right, we'll see you, Blake.
So,
You have a good night.
all right, take it easy, Brian. Thanks for having me. Everybody else in here, hey, Mr. Foot,
Hey, tell
thanks
your
for
wife
coming
I
out
said,
and
hey,
hang out.
good night.
So, take
Okay,
it easy.
gentlemen. Have a
Doing dad stuff.
Cool.
Good thing to do.
All right, are we still talking about B5 Blue?
B5 blue,
So,
the official
we'll make
paint
it-
color.
We'll
B7.
make it the way I
some
want it.
scary
That's what
friends
we're
that
gonna
don't
do.
live far from you.
What's that?
I have some scary friends that don't live far from you up by Chicago. I'll
Hey,
have
I
to
got.
tell them.
We might know him. I might know him.
You probably do know them. I was gonna say I'll call them and have them come over and kick you in the balls.
That's fine. I'll just send pictures of me teabagging him to you and be like, hey, check this out.
Oh,
So
Well,
two
Thomas
hacks.
is kind of. He
Yeah.
is kind
Now,
of.
what's this I hear about B5 Blue?
Oh God damn!
Oh,
there we go.
okay. There you go, Jed. This got me off the hook of getting kicked in the dick.
Just paint it the way you want.
I
Shut
heard
up
it.
already.
You know, I had to pop in. My ears were ringing.
No, you missed it. We're talking about crazy electronics on classic cars, actually.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
thought we
you
were
know,
talking
this
about
is-
the.
Tell me one thing
This is
that's
the
crazy
Trigger Jed
electronic.
episode.
Are we
Trigger Jed.
So you don't want to
This
see
is
an
the Trigger
MSD
Jed
on a go
episode.
car, huh?
Jed's my fucking hero. He got Holly to get off their ass and do something for me after a year. So like,
I was gonna say, is there any new news? Like, have you got it
yeah.
yet?
I haven't got anything yet, but I just heard from your guy today finally after sending him 2 emails to make sure, he got my response. And he said he hasn't been able to get a hold of the guy that's supposed to be taking care of it, so he's just going to take care of it and push the order through, and it'll be on my door soon. So
That guy is awesome.
Well, hopefully it pans out for you then.
Unsung hero.
I super duper appreciate it. I'm happy about it.
Oh, dude, it's just, it just passing along, the shit. They couldn't do nothing for me, so let's at least make it right by somebody. And I mean, you spent so much stupid freaking money on that setup.
I did.
You deserve to get it. Which I'll say this, I hope it works better for you. I know. So Birdsong, he called me the other night, and he is done with all EFI.
Yeah,
he
I heard
threw
that.
the past away, like literally in the trash. And he said he thought about trying the Jegs brand just for shits and giggles, or even trying to go sniper. But he just said he's so done with it all, especially with it controlling the whole car.
Right.
Oof. Brian says to paint
you got the good stuff
paint
there.
a 5.7 B5 blue.
Jed, what do you mean by controlling the whole car?
So Chris's fast EFI controlled everything in patina. It controlled the fans, literally everything.
Oh no, I don't like
the timing,
at all.
the fuel, and like if it all works like it's supposed to, that's actually pretty fantastic. If it never wore out, never died. But that's the problem, is if it has any kind of glitch, that's everything in your car. It's like a modern car.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. Is like the Holly EFI, they have their wiring harness the same way, Jed, and like with their spark system and all that, it is literally the same, and it has to have constant 12 volts. Like it cannot dip below, and we found that out. And basically added a power vacuum booster because this car does see a lot of street driving. We get this thing done. We go out and Kyle nails it, takes off really good, and he hits the brakes real hard, goes, and all of a sudden it's just like blah, 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 blah. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm like, give me that screen. I want to watch. So I'm looking at the screen. He does the exact same thing. Screen goes out.
Ooh.
So what we did was we got back on there and checked, and every time that vacuum power brake booster, the electric one, would kick on, it would drop it so low, it'd spike it down to like 10.2.
Spike. I already knew that.
Yeah,
So-
they make it super duper like in the instructions. 12 volt, direct to the ECU, direct battery, no bulkhead connectors, no this battery.
Yep.
So yes, that is 100%.
How do modern
I
cars
believe
get
it.
by with it? And how do modern cars get? All of them have EFI. How do they get by with it?
Well, they're designed. There's a lot of that. They're
There's another
designed to have
thing
it.
that you don't have access to. You don't have access to the fuel trim tables and all the other things inside there. I want all that access to that system. If they're going to sell you the system, they might as well give you the software as well.
Right.
So the other half to what I was going to say about Chris is he took the 750 double pumper off of the General and put it on patina and rigged up some wiring for his fans and stuff. He said not only is the car more crisp, it runs better, it starts easier, and like it's just 10 times better in every aspect.
Oh yeah.
And
Chris is an awesome dude.
Yeah. But I'm not trying to turn anybody from EFI. I'm just saying, Ken, the next time I get a super good deal on a carburetor, I'm calling you when I find your phone number. I don't know if I got it or not. I'm going to get a hold of you, and you're going to get a sweet deal on a carburetor just so you can freaking play with it and fall in love with it.
So okay, I'll be honest here. Our last live of Tall John, and he was like, driving into me apparently about how carbs work and whatnot. And I got there and I was thinking about it. I've come to realize that everything I know about like engines is based on boost and whatnot. I don't know dick about NA shit. So, oh, and Jed, you're rubbing off on me too. So yeah, I need to build like a huge cubic inch NA carbureted motor. Like that's what I need to do, I think.
Well, it's
Yes.
not even that. It's just so that's one thing. Actually, Tall John did call me yesterday. We were planning out a collab deal, and we talked about you in the last live for about 40 minutes, and we're both like, I know I'm probably, I don't remember, I don't know, how old are you, Ken?
I am 34.
Okay, so yeah, you're older than me by about 5 years. So it sounds weird, but we're both like really proud of you for being interested in trying to learn the stuff, because and being, that's kind of thing, like being an EFI guy and you know what you're doing with it, and then stepping into the realm of carburetors. Like him and I, we're both fucking terrified of EFI. It scares us, but we know carburetors, and the fact that you were willing to listen to all that stuff is like, okay, we're gonna hook this guy up so that way he can play and not have a bunch of money invested.
Right.
I'm thinking you guys are right. If I get into it and I see like I've never had a carbureted engine that ran worth a piss ever in my whole life, and I'm thinking that's like part of my stigma when it comes to carbs, right? I've just never had one that ran right. So if I did, it might change my tune a little bit.
Yeah,
It
well,
probably
obviously
would.
There are places where EFI has its benefits, and there are places where carburetors just infinitely better. It also comes down to what you're good with. Some people aren't real good with their hands. I mean, as far as like mechanicking ability, and that's not a slight to anybody. Not everybody is super mechanically inclined. Some guys are great at wiring. Some guys are shit at wiring. Some guys are great at plumbing fuel lines. Some guys don't know what to do with a spool of fuel line. But like, so one of the next videos I'm doing is going through the 6-pack setup for my satellite. And it goes into depth on, when you're working with 3 carburetors, you don't treat it as 3. You either treat it as a dual quad or as a single 4-barrel because you're working on the primary carburetor as your primary side. And then when you open up the secondaries, that's technically your secondary. Like that's either your rear carburetor for a dual quad or it's your secondaries on a single 4. And a lot of people, they see like 3 carburetors and they're like, oh my God, it's complicated. It's 3 of them I got to work with. And in reality, it's not.
On motorcycles, they do it all the time. On the 4 bangers and 3 cylinders, 2 cylinders, they're always dealing with multiple carbs and trying to get them in sync. So it's not a big deal on that side. But the thing is about the fuel injected. Have you guys taken fuel injection engines and turned them into carbureted engines? I took 351s and turned them into carbureted engines, 93, 94, out of trucks, and they make 60 to 70 more horsepower on the carburetor.
Well, that's just because the carburetor cools the charge.
Exactly.
EFI can't do that.
Exactly.
I don't know much about carburetors, but I want to learn. Speaking of carburetors, Jed, if there's anything specific you're looking for, I have no idea how or why, but there's a ridiculous amount of carbs around me right now.
Oh, yes. I was going to ask Jed the same thing.
There's a bunch of 1050 Dominators around me.
There are carbs everywhere on my Facebook Marketplace, and I was going to ask you because I'm in a completely different time zone as you, right? So if there's anything you want me to keep an eye out for you, right? Let me know. And
oh yeah, dude. There's so basically any carburetor under at $150 and down, and double pumper I'm interested in. Old stuff like old Demons, old Barry Grants, old Hollies, typically that kind of stuff, or even like new Brawlers. It's hard to find them at those prices. Basically anything. So 650s and 750s are the number one seller. When I was at Indy, I had the opportunity to buy about 2850s. And I don't ever typically sell those. I used to have about 10 of them and took forever to sell the 10 I had. And I sold out of 650s and 750s on my last big run. So I didn't buy any of those 850s, and now I kind of wish I did because everybody needs an 850 now.
Gotcha. I'll definitely keep an eye out because they're everywhere. I think I might even have some laying around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so the demons you want to look out for. It's really simple. They weigh a ton. They have a float sight that looks like this. Looks like a flathead screwdriver takes them out. If they have a C-clip that takes out this, that means it's too new. It's a Holly demon. And you want the old Barry Grant demons like this one. Because this thing's got the jettable emulsion tubes, jettable air bleeds, and this carburetor is way older than, it's like late 90s, which is long before Holly was doing any of that kind of stuff. This is the transitional carburetor from when Barry Grant, from when his line of carburetors to the demons, because Holly didn't like him making his own version of theirs. Get you back over here. Good carburetor. What do I recommend for a 347 one? Wanted horsepower 750. I got around 6.
Jeff, I'm gonna drop you out quick and let Bad Tree in if that's cool.
That's fine. I'm just listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just
All right.
wondering. All right, thanks. I can. And now Bad Tree's gone. Now I feel like an a-hole.
I'm trying to think about Street Fox's deal. So as far as recommending your carburetor, there's a lot to really know. Like what's your peak RPM and all this other stuff, like your airflow. If you really need the 750. I mean, as far as that cubic inch, I'd say a 650 is already pretty damn epic. So
I was thinking.
If you go with us, I always recommend going smaller than bigger on carburetors. Like I said earlier in the chat, the smaller carburetor will give you way better off, like right off the throttle. It'll give
Why
you better
not go
throttle
with a bigger carburetor though and detune it down to where your smaller number is then build up?
No. You can't jet down a carburetor like that.
You can't?
You can. The only thing you can change in a carburetor is the fuel. The air stays constant. Whether or not the engine can take the air is the real thing. That's where the real equation comes into. And this is where I'm coming from for Street Fox is you can put a 650 on your car or a 750. The 750 may feel faster in the top end because it's, well, and these are theoretical numbers, 750 DFM of flow at like I think 4 inches of mercury or something.
Right.
But the thing to keep in mind is when you go smaller, 450? Yeah, dude.
Well,
yes, 50's all you need.
My car shop said that he worked with this mythical carburetor genius. And like my blueprint of the Nacho build with aluminum heads and everything, he says it would require a 650 AVS. And I know that's total bullshit.
Well, it all comes so here's where I'm coming from. So we'll come back to this guy. So you see the size of the primaries on this.
Right.
It's also, you look into the throttle boards, how big those are. It's all about air velocity and how fast air can pass through that.
And Holly's got a great Vincere.
Yeah. Well, it also comes down to, so there's down leg boosters, double down legs, annular, and straight leg boosters. There's all these different boosters that will affect the CFM flow and how it'll act. But if we're talking,
the air goes through, right?
Yeah, well, if we're talking strictly just down leg boosters, which is the most common for racing applications. Oh God, we're gonna end the stream on this stuff.
Well, look at the thermoquad with the first and secondaries with their Vinceres.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a really great carburetor, and people hate them because they're hard
because
to
they
tune.
don't know how to use them. They don't know how to. They don't know how to build them, and they don't know how to use them.
If you dial in a 850 thermoquad, you're in the money, baby.
Well, you know why a thermoquad, like a spread bore, or the way a spread bore works is because you have such a small primary. So that's
Right.
going to get you a good 60-foot time, and then you have the big secondaries that'll carry you on.
But in between the secondaries and the primaries is a Vincere. And that's where you're getting all your velocity of air is from that venturi.
There's
Well,
four
yeah, you
venturi.
also have that valve that's opening at on demand of air on the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Every
The engine
carburetor's got
demands the air, and this carburetor adjusts by the demand.
That's
so
why I
every
think square bores are
carburetor's got
junk.
4 venturis and they got 4 boosters. That's what each barrel is. The actual outer wall barrel is called a venturi, and the piece that sticks out the middle is called a booster.
Mhm.
And the booster's where you get annular and all these different shapes, and they all do a different job. But the point I
Right.
make to the smaller carburetor is you're trying to say you got to I've explained this in every live, but if you got an opening this big that you're feeding air through, you have to supplement that with X amount of fuel. And if your engine does great on this size bore, but you think it'll do better with a bigger bore,
Right.
that's that much extra air you
Then
are.
then why did they put 800 CFM carburetors on everything from a slant 6 to a 440?
It doesn't mean it works right.
Yeah, but it did.
But you do give up drivability in the low end though when you do that.
Yeah.
And it's not just it. So the drivability comes in with like 60-foot times. And this is something that Tall John and I have talked about.
Right.
650 carburetor. It all, God,
See, I don't understand it. That's why I'm asking these stupid fucking questions, you know.
Well, 650 is plenty for a 318. Okay.
Right.
And a 650, honestly, it's right on the verge for a 340. And it's plenty for a 360. It's all about the RPMs and the flow of the heads and everything else. It's all about airflow.
Yeah. The cam.
Yeah. The carburetor's the last piece of the puzzle.
You know, just a real world test. We had a 650 AVS on Jeremy's triple pickle crew cab with Hoosiers on the back, and it would just grip and rip, right? We put the 850 Holly knockoff Brawler on it, and now it's the Hoosiers without going in the burnout box are useless. They just spin.
It's interesting.
And it's so much more torque down low. It's crazy. And Germany swears by it.
So so actually Edelbrock rates their carburetors differently. So a 650 Edelbrock is not the same as a 650 Holly. And with that smaller Venturi, it's gonna that don't make any sense. That would give you more torque because it'd be more port velocity.
Never spun the tires with the AVS and then put the Brawler on, and you can't keep them glued to the ground without doing a water box.
That might, well, he's got a 408, so I'd probably
402.
402. Well, 408, 402, it's all the same shit.
Standard board, baby.
Yeah.
We got them thick walls.
So I would say probably he would be really good with a 750 double pumper with an HP body. Like you would see the best of everything with that size carburetor. What's he? Well, I guess you don't know what your peak power is at a certain RPM. So
once it gets nice, we're gonna go down to chassis dyno, so we'll get wheel horsepower.
That'll be good. No, that way you can. That's the other part is carburetor also works with the chassis and the whole build. But the whole thing is it's better to have a smaller carburetor than a bigger carburetor. If it's literally just a straight A to B car, all it's going to do is live its life on the drag strip. Then whatever. If you don't care about your freaking off idle shit, if all you're doing is going wide open right off the starting line, then
and if we all know the hippie, he doesn't just want to go to the drag strip. He wants to go cruise and go smoke a joint somewhere. So
yeah. My recommendation for his 402 would be probably a 750. He'll get by with the 850. It's just a tad big. And that's part of the reason why like a thermal quad gets away with being 800 CFM is because the small primaries.
Well, I had to beat him up about Tony says drum brakes are the shit this weekend because Jeremy couldn't get over 1700 RPM at the line. If he went over that, he was pushing through the drums.
Really?
And so, like for his stall converter, you would like to launch at a 2500 RPM or something like that, right? So that got his whole idea of drums versus discs, what Tony says.
So he's saying it's not holding it, right?
It's not holding it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And then his car's only got 50,000 miles, so it's got the entire original factory front end suspension bushings and everything in it. So
they're
when
all
he
rubber.
crosses the eighth track, when you look at the video, you see it shake so fucking hard, like he's gonna wreck.
Well, time for
So
a rebuild.
just because you have a 35,000 mile car doesn't mean it's perfect. You still got to change all your bushing.
You know that rubber is affected by ozone. It's not because it's being used. It's because it's old.
Yep.
I'd go poly, all black poly on.
Yep. Yeah, I'd go
black
poly.
or red poly all around the corners.
Yep.
Red's nice if you like it, but I like black better.
Well, I like red because you look under it and it makes it.
I know, but it's kind of gaudy. It's like a painted whore. That's okay.
Well, Ruben, that's the other half to that is, you can put an 850 on a freaking 318 and it'll work.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's optimized, because that 318 is trying to suck. Like, if it can only, say, if that 318 can only pull so much air, and you have a barrel this big you're sucking through, I know it's an exaggeration, it's trying to get that air through a giant hole, and then you got to compensate because you have a giant air leak. That's all a carburetor is, basically an organized fuel and air leak. And if you're trying to suck, say, air through a smaller hole, it's going to be more responsive and more peppy.
Got to give you a better signal.
Yeah. Obviously, you wouldn't put a 600 on a 512, but you can, and it would run fine.
It'd be like the carburetor.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I've been thinking about it. A 600 CFM carburetor on a 512 would be better than an 850 on a 318.
I'm just nervous my
what about
tomorrow isn't going to work.
What is his name? Junkyard Diggs? No, that's not him. Thunderhead.
Oh, you're talking about
Thunderhead with the lawnmower carburetor.
Yeah. Fucking Thunderhead, man. Everybody's been talking about that damn video.
That was a great video. I love that video. The way
so is he going to get suicided with 2 broken ribs and hanging?
He's going to fall down an elevator shaft under some bullets.
I'm going to take the damn carburetor off my Briggs & Stratton right now.
He was on the top of the hill and he choked himself out with 2 bullets in the back of his head.
Okay.
So me and somebody, and I'm not going to name names, talked about the whole brake drum versus disc and Tony and all that jazz. And I'm sorry, but
Tony's an A to B kind of guy. He doesn't want to go around a road course. So when you talk to Tony, it's A to B.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah, there's more to do than in a straight line in a car. And
we can have a Honda Fit jump out in front of you, and you want to stop with the drums. Good luck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't have the holding power. They just don't. Like,
why do you think I put drums on, or I removed drums and put discs on the Nacho?
Blake, you better stay in Tony's good graces, or else he'll take your sticker off of the trunk lid of Slaghammer.
Oh man, he's zoomed right
he's got
in on
my
that
sticker on that yellow ass truck. His toolbox, the back of Slaghammer, on fucking Plan Z. Let him take them off. I don't give a shit. I'm not a fan.
Free promotion.
Oh man, that's good. I like it. I like that, Blake. Got balls. That's good balls there.
I'm not going to be surprised if that no name is just going to be a bunch of people trying to flock around Tony, and he's just going to be like, "Okay, you guys go away now. Leave me alone."
No,
Bad Tree will work security for him if he needs it. I mean, if he needs people to,
I don't know.
Yeah, but how much
we'll talk to people for him if he needs it. But
he's going to charge $1 for an autograph.
Fuck that shit, man.
I'll make him earn that $1 back when you sign my ball sack.
Dude, it's gonna be the damn Woodstock of drag racing. Everybody's gonna have such a good time. Everybody's gonna have a blast.
Everybody that I want to see are the smaller channels. You know, it's like Jed's side.
Bigfoot's gonna be there. I'm gonna have to edit the shit out of my video and put little tiny Bigfoots popping up everywhere in the background. Did you like that?
Yeah.
See, I've met Bigfoot. I've met you, Blake. I mean,
but yeah, I mean, it's like
God for fucking Ryan
Travis, who was
with his 4-wheeler at Mopars in the park, carrying our parts all the way back to the fucking van.
Yeah, no problem. I'll do it again this year too.
For sure. Then we stopped and had to get the beers from the vets.
And then you came back towards the van, towards my thing, and my tent was all folded up in the wind.
It was like a tornado hit it.
Yeah.
And I was walking over towards
took my canopy thing and like flipped it up in the air and bent it all up. And
the guys, the aisle right before you, they say, "Hey, Blake," and I'm like, "Yeah." And I didn't know who the fuck he was, and he's got Coors Light, and he's like, "You want to have a beer?" And he holds up a Coors Light, and I'm like, "You got Blake bait? I'm with you, man." And he's like, "You don't know me, but we've been watching your channel," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Here we go. The next thing you know, we got Dad and Tyler and
is that one of them older
Terry
guys?
over there, and we're drinking beer, and the
Was that
people
them?
next to us got a 68 satellite station wagon. And they want to trade it for a pontoon. My mom's got a pontoon boat. And we're sitting there and we're drinking beers and we're trying to trade, and
That
it just
guy.
never worked out. It was a really good time, Ryan.
Yeah, I met that guy.
I thought
Mopars in the park is
things.
a
I think I
must.
sold him a couple things.
70 satellite wagon, wasn't it?
68.
Was it?
68.
It was a
I
70.
thought, yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking
Well, it had a
something
bunch of bog in the back. That's one thing we all seen, but the rest of it was solid. And I'm like, "Mom, you got, fuck your pontoon boat.
Oh,
This guy's got a fucking badass Mopar."
the guy that had the satellite wagon there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were talking. There was a guy that was right next to us that had a 68 satellite.
You go back in the video and you watch it, and the guy's like drooling over that I have a pontoon boat that could be traded. Oh, for real? And I mean, this thing was solid, dude. You know, the B-body trunk fans, they're all rotted out and crusty and shit, and especially the wagons.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing was just solid. And you wanted like $3,800 for it, or trade for pontoon.
Yeah, put a big block in it and make it a sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Drive that to No Name Nationals and just fold the rear seats down and sleep in the back of it.
I got 2 girls that are going to be playing softball. Drag their asses around.
I'd like to try to snag Johnny Mopar's 69 Coronet wagon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
But
that's exactly basically what it was, dude.
that thing is sweet. I love that car.
I've only ever had one wagon, and it was a 72 Coronet.
I'd take that too.
Yeah.
Weird car.
Does a wagon year
Brown with
count?
tan interior.
Did it have the split bumper in the front?
No, it was a big loop bumper.
Oh, okay.
70 was a split bumper.
Oh, 70 was the split bumper. Okay.
You know, a 70 Coronet front bumper and grill will interchange with a Charger.
Yeah.
A 71, 72, 73, 74 Charger. And it's a big loop bumper with no divider in the middle. It looks like a 70 Charger bumper.
Yeah, I've seen somebody do that to a car.
Wasn't it
It's
none of
actually
them
pretty
B
cool.
bodies interchanged for like 8 years or some shit?
I don't know. You
Sure,
could
you
put a
got a couple
Roadrunner front
generations.
end on a Super B. You could do all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. On the
Well,
early
you can, but
69.
if you went to put it on it, a 68 from a 68 on a Charger to a Roadrunner probably wouldn't fit.
No, I said between a Roadrunner and a Super B.
Oh, well.
Right.
Or a GTX or
Yeah.
whatever you wanted.
The Charger is its own thing.
Right.
It always
But
has
you can-
been its own thing.
I want a 68 with a 70 front clip. That's what I want. I want the
You
brown
just want
lights in
the
the back.
68 taillights.
I want the 68 back lights with that front bumper in the front.
70 Charger front end's my favorite.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, I
had
mean,
a 70
Jezebel looks
I
like
wonder why.
it's the fucking meanest damn thing on the internet.
It just amazes me how much dead space is from the radiator forward on like Chargers and Cornets.
Oh, you mean a Bigfoot could climb in and change a radiator? Yeah, you're right.
Great place for an intercooler, like if you're running or if you
You
wanted
could
to run
keep
a
a-
Pro Charger.
You could keep a briefcase between the bumper and the core support.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
after
great.
watching Richard Holder talk about the, low compression 440, and I'm looking at the D200 and I'm putting a low compression 440 in it. I'm
Why
like,
not?
God dang, there's a lot of room for a turbo in there.
Nice
They got two
lots of room for an
440.
intercooler, and oh yeah, now we're
Okay.
talking.
Get a
Yeah.
hold of what is it, max speed connecting rods? They'll hook you up with a
A
turbo.
Jackie
Yeah,
Chan exhaust fan.
no,
mean,
don't.
Holder
don't do
was
that.
running 6 psi and making 600, mid 600 horsepower, mid 600 torque.
Yeah.
With,
So
with
Gary-
just a Chinese fucking turbo at 6 psi, and that's not even making that motor work.
Dude,
My
6
answer
So-
PSI is
Gary-
nothing.
So what the fuck are we doing spending thousands of dollars on heads and
Gary puts,
dropping all this money in the small blocks and shit when you should just go buy a truck, get a motorhome 440, and boom, you got Hellcat horsepower.
Jed,
No, that's
Jed,
remember
You're
Tony-
doing it the right
Ed,
way.
would you like to take that question, please? I'd like to hear your answer on
So-
why we
okay.
spend
So I'm gonna
4
have
times as much.
Ken's
So
gonna. I don't. This is probably not the answer everybody's expecting out of me, but here's the thing: everything you do to that motorhome 440, as far as the turbo is concerned, you do all the same mods to it as you build it naturally aspirated. Not only is it going to make it stronger, but it's going to make it more powerful.
So I got to
Right,
chime
but
in
it's
here.
about this, right? Like,
Yeah.
why spend more to get the same thing?
But you could throw
We're
a set
skipping
of
the whole
speed pro
part about
pistons
making
in
it more powerful. We're just wanting to put Hiroshima roundhouse kickers on the motherfucker.
The Jackie
the whole
Chan
point
exhaust fan.
So
Well,
Gary
yeah. So
takes
you put a.
torque
So
storm.
say say like so. There's $10,000 wrapped up in Jezebel's engine. I'm not shy it, and I'm not bragging about it. It scares me thinking about it, basically. And yeah, you could probably put a turbo on a bone stock 440 and make pretty good power. I don't know what exactly you'd make, but the question is, how long will it live with that bottom end
Exactly.
with cast
probably a long
pistons and all
time.
this
That's
other
what
junk?
Richard Holder's saying at 650 horse and
Guys,
hardly
long
working the
time.
motor.
Guys, 6 psi is nothing.
Exactly.
It's
Does
so
anybody-
nothing.
Here's the
It isn't funny.
So for
But here's
$600 on a
even though 6
junkyard
PSI is
RV
nothing.
motor, I could make what you spent $10,000 to make.
See, this
But
is
your
this,
engine won't live. Here's the
Oh,
thing.
it will.
but it
because
will.
it's not even
Hold on,
working.
hold on.
A
Jet,
At 6
440
PSI,
block,
Judd,
a 440 block cannot
there's
handle
no
Calm down.
crank pressure at that point.
No,
Guys.
a 440 block literally cannot handle that much horsepower for sustained deals. 650 horsepower. you're going
Connecting
to
rods
split.
are built to make and withstand 700 horsepower.
The rods.
I
may,
mean,
but the
Chevy
block
guys are
cannot.
envious of factory
Hey.
Mopar connecting rods.
The
What's the weak-
440
what-
block literally
Oh.
cannot handle that much sustained power for long abuse. It'll
Does
do
any-
it. It's just like an LS engine. You
Yeah,
can take a
yeah.
bone stock 5.3 and put 12 pounds of boost to it, make 1,000 horsepower, but how long will it last?
Right. Does
The
anybody
440
remember?
block cannot handle it. It doesn't have cross bolted mains. It's
Yeah.
not supported down there. It's not designed to take that much abuse.
You
All right,
have a
I-
old Marine
But-
block 440.
Now, hold on.
But does
I've been wanting to know.
anybody remember Uncle Tony's neighbor who had the 440 and it was blown?
I was about
had
to say
blower on
that.
it. And how long did that motor last? It's probably still alive now, and it's a
So-
motorhome 440.
So
All right,
Gary's
here's
known
my-
for building nothing but supercharged engines, and he'll tell you that that guy's engine's still a time bomb. I mean, throwing that on a junkyard engine. Gary can take like a Torque Storm, one of those cheap centrifugal superchargers. You put it on a small 400, and yeah, you got 600 horsepower. But like Jed was saying, for how long? Eventually, it's going to like suck the rings out. It's not good advice. You can do it, but
I don't see
as long
These
as you got
guys
a
aren't
replacement-
driving 15 miles.
as long as you got like a replacement.
15 miles to them is like 2 years.
guys. I don't know, man. I don't see what I don't like. Okay, so I want to ask this, Jed. What does it take to crossbolt a 440? I've been wondering this for a long time. Or any RB motor. What does
Okay.
it take to crossbolt one?
So
Drilling.
there's
Oh.
cross bolting a 440 block is possible.
Yeah, I figured it was.
It's not highly recommended because the block wasn't designed to do that. It's not a Hemi block. The Hemi block was
Okay.
cast to do that.
Right.
But you can do it to a 440 block and it will help it live. It requires main caps and machine work because you
Right,
got to
yeah,
put
yeah.
the main caps and you got to line board, line hunt it, do all that stuff. And that'll strengthen the bottom end immensely. And you can also put a stud girdle there and that'll strengthen the bottom end.
Better connecting.
But
Right.
We're gonna
that's
do a
just one
partial
piece of
fill.
puzzle because you still have cylinder walls and all this other casting flash. You gotta if you're gonna do that, the money you're gonna spend in strengthening the bottom end to make it last, because you're gonna have the block sonic checked. You're gonna have it make sure the cylinder walls are thick, make sure everything's strong. You're gonna spend enough money checking out the block to make sure it can live. Because that's the whole thing. Yeah, you can do it and go do it, whatever. But if, like myself personally, if I'm going to put that kind of power to an engine, I'm going to make it live forever.
Okay, so here's my second question. Why don't the 440 blocks hold? Like, what are we saying is weak? Are we saying the rod's weak? Are we saying the piston's weak? Are we saying the block's weak? Like, what are we saying here?
Well, the cast pistons won't take it.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
LS pistons are cast. We make 1,000 horsepower. Like, I get these pistons are also 50 years older, right? I get that. They're older. The processes ain't the same. Yada, 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 yada.
The main weak point, and it's Hemis, it's 440s, it's 3D. It's what makes really a 400 block and a 383 block a little bit stronger. Is it's the casting right near the main rib, right where it goes up into the cam. That's and when that part cracks,
right?
the block is done.
Yeah.
There's no fixing it. You can weld it, but it's going to crack again.
Right.
And that's what kills a block. Like you can window a block and you can fix it, but you can't fix a main crack. And
So
that's
is that extra deck height.
If you look at a block's angle of the piston direction and then look at how a block is designed, how many times can you put a triangle into that block? That's what the designers of the block are thinking about. And once you get so much rotational RPM, shit starts to get wacky.
All right, guys. How about the Siamese 440? How about running the Siamese block, the 440 block?
well, you also got to have, so you want to kill as much resonance as possible. So you got to put a good dampener on there. I mean, it just comes down to if you're going to try and make it live, you're starting to talk about the money it would take to build that thing in a it's just no fucking. It fucking hurts my head even thinking about it.
Ryan, are you getting tired?
I gotta be up at 6 a.m. preparing for a dyno tomorrow.
Well, we can continue this even though you leave, Brian. The live
We didn't
stage.
even talk about hard block, about adding a little cement inside that damn block.
That's what we're
Yeah,
doing.
you don't even
Ryan,
gotta like.
remember, hey, tell
We're
your
doing a
dyno
partial
room,
fill
keep
by
it at
440.
2% after
Exactly,
I
yeah.
know.
Half fill, still run some water through it.
Well, hold on, real
Yeah,
quick.
exactly.
I wonder if I do